Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, and welcome. I am Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. How's everyone doing? I am 4 minutes later than I wanted to be because there's like excitement with our AC unit in that it's not working because things have like Freon has backed up and it's frozen, and so boxes have to be moved, and I will do that later after the stream and after I have my beverage and have some time in a frozen space. It'll be good. Mm. Hi everyone, how are you? Uh, yeah, our AC is not working right now because of some stuff, and what this is going to mean. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, Gondlar, it'll be what it is. All that's going to happen is, well, we're going to have to call our landlord and have them come in and look at it. But before they do, we've got things in that room, and I have got 8 boxes, 3 of which I want to take to storage, 5 of which I still have to unpack. And I'm going to be moving all of those boxes into my room so that they're not in the room where our AC is. And I'm going to do that like after this stream, but before Critical Role. I'll just move them. As you do. I'll just move them uh, into the room. I don't have a lot of space in here at this moment, but if I have all of my boxes in my room, it will really encourage me to unpack them because then I'll, be in the middle of boxes, which I feel like is a good motivator. And then uh, the boxes that are unpacked will be unpacked. The things that need to go into storage will go into storage, and then I will be done. Yes, that will be. And as Courier says, at least it's September and not July. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Mm. So, we're going to be playing the Long Dark, but I want to tell you things first. I have so many things to tell you all because I feel like it's been like 8 years. By the way, while we're talking, I'm just going to do my wrist exercises because I have been slacking on that just a little bit, and I just want to, uh, get them in, and it'll be fine. So, hey everybody, how are you? What are you up to? And what's happening? And I've got things to tell you. I've got so many things to tell you. I don't even know what to say. Um, First off, though, I want you to tell me how y'all are doing. That's a thing that I want. Let's right. All right. What else did I want? So what do I want to tell you? Hey, hi everybody. Um, hey Toy Boat Sailor. Hey, how are you? I have to message you, not for any particular reason, but just to say hi. You know what I mean? You know when you're like, oh, I just want to message you and say hi. So let me see. What do I want to tell you? Okay, so um, Krellin, don't even worry about it. Um, so one of the things that I wanted to say was that what was it? What was it? Oh yeah, I haven't put my schedule up. Like you know how on my Twitch page I have a calendar of all the, like I have like on the about page it has the schedule of the things I'm doing that month, and I do not have I have like the first week of September in there, but I don't have this week of September up there yet. Although the little what do you call it, out the offline calendar, little weekly calendar thing is up there, but the one for September has not been up yet, and I'm going to be doing that tonight. I just haven't done it yet because uh, there are a lot of things kind of up in the air that I need to add to the calendar, maybe. So I'm just saying that there are things uh, that are cool and maybe happening soon. So I just wanted to tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna update my calendar tonight. Anyway, there are big things in the air. Speaking of big things in the air, which I'm gonna just tease right now, Barontor's got big things in the air too, and I'm hoping and I'm crossing my fingers that Barontor's big things in the air will manifest, right? Because that would be pretty awesome if that could happen. Yes. Did my mystery email have goodness? So it's about the well, one of the things is about the mystery. There are multiple things. There are things. There are things. Um, Wait, so I did hold on. I did these. I did these. There's 6 of them. Uh there's this one, but that doesn't come next. The one that comes next is oh, wait, and then the last 2 are those. What is that? Hold on, I have one more. Is it this one? I don't think it's this one. I think it's oh gosh. I forgot my I forgot my hand exercise. Give me 1 second. I have to look it up. Um but I want to tell you. Look, oh, here it is. I have to tell you some things that are um, not. What's the word? Quick look. Oh, right. That makes sense. That are some of the things I want to tell you are not um, confirmed yet. Uh, oh, I already did palm up, palm down. So that one I've already done. So that's all right. Okay. So let me see. What can I tell you? What can I not tell you? Um, I, oh yeah, I'm thinking super good job thoughts for Baron Tor because I hope Baron Tor has got the things. Unconfirmed things. There are some unconfirmed things, but when I say unconfirmed, some things are super unconfirmed and some things are much less unconfirmed, right? So what am I going to tell you? The improv thing on Unexpected Productions is going really well, and I hope that you got to see it. And if the VOD is up, if you haven't, and you should definitely see it. And then come and watch me on Saturday for part two of Cupid on Mute. Please, please do. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can do whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you. Um, but you know, it would be great if you did. Uh, so okay, did that. Okay, so let me tell you some things that are happening for September. Some things I can tell you, some things I cannot tell you, but I can tell you this. We've got Cupid on Mute, right? I mean, generally speaking, in September, we've got, our Long Dark on Thursdays. We've got Colos on Fridays, Witcher Wednesday on Wednesdays. Uh, Saturdays, rather than the Outer Worlds, we have Cupid on Mute. And then Sundays is Faint Dawn and Blue Rose, right? So that's like my regular schedule. That's what you all know about. That's what I know about. Um, I'm going to tell you that I see Crit Twitch is shivering in anticipation. Oh, Heskip, you're worried about my character on Faint Dawn? You should be worried about my character in Faint Dawn. I'm worried about my character in Faint Dawn, but I also ordered some um, makeup which has just arrived, which I hope will better allow me to convey how not physically well my character is doing right now. My character is not doing physically well. A lot of stress, also harm, is doing very poorly, and I just felt like I needed some. That's all you get to see. Some makeup to help convey where my character's at, and I'm going to do some makeup tests for it, on Sunday, and so I'm really excited for that. Have you ever played a character we shouldn't be worried about? Absolutely. I feel like um, you probably should not have worried about um, my character Oceanus because Oceanus is like that baby in the early Looney Tunes commercials who would like walk through the factory, the assembly line factory, where like everything's like fire and like axes and cheese graters, and the baby's just like walking around through all of that. Is this totally fine the entire time? But everybody else trying to save the baby gets like cut in half, and by everybody I sort of mean like that one cat or whatever it is. So I feel like you didn't have to worry about Oceanus at all. Oceanus was totally fine. Um, Everybody else is a different question. Let me see. Gosh. Yeah, Oceanus was fine. Um, oh, it's funny because I haven't been playing as much as I thought. Um, Russ is fine. My Rhyhawk, Russ is fine. Russ is a little bit gruff, but generally speaking, Russ is fine. He, um, has a little bit of a heartbreak, but uh, in their world, they have reincarnation, and so he'll be reunited with his love later on down the reincarnation line, maybe even in this world. Who knows? So I mean, he's generally fine. He doesn't have nearly as much drama as the rest of everyone else does. He'll be okay. He doesn't have a lot of hit points, and it takes him like 4 rounds to be able to actually set himself up to do an attack, uh, which in many combats are done before you get to round 4. So he's generally not going to be like doing a whole lot in combat. But again, that does mean that he's probably going to be fine. Yeah, you shouldn't have to. You don't worry about Russ either. Russ, don't worry about. Yeah, yes. reunited and it feels so good. Oceanus was protected by the love of everyone. See, this is all I'm saying. Oceanus was fine. Maybe some other people may not have been fine, but Oceanus was fine. Let me see. Gosh. Um, oh, I have to do this one. So what did I want to tell you? Okay. I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone because it's not confirmed, but it's close. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I just got to like I just have to send out some emails. We should be fine. So it's not official and it's not confirmed, but I'm not under an NDA, so I feel like I can say. But I mean, of course, things could fall through, and then what I'm saying is not going to be relevant. But I think we'll be good, right? So I will be, and I'm telling you because this will probably impact my schedule for next week, which is one of the reasons why I haven't put things up. Although I should just put things up and then I can just change it. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is next week I will be remote producing for Gen Con, which is like, it's not a big deal. It's I'm going to be doing back end um, production for their stuff remotely because I'm not going there in person because COVID's a thing. So I'll be out back in the, on the computer doing uh, um, bringing shows up and down. So I'll be doing that over Gen Con weekend. Yeah, exactly. But Barantor, just take that comment you made and just put a pin on it because I'll come back to that. So what this does mean is that I may, like for example, I may not be able to do Long Dark next Thursday if I'm doing Gen Con stuff. Um, I will be doing Kolos and I will be doing uh, Cupid on Mute and the Sunday streams. But I will be streaming here and there and about otherwise. On You won't see me, but I'll be streaming for Gen Con because that's cool. But there's another thing. I'm having conversations about it. I think it is not yet confirmed. So it's not confirmed. Just note that what I'm about to say is not a confirmed thing. It right. It's very much unconfirmed, but I am very likely to be GMing a stream for Gen Con on Gen Con TV. So it'll be like a 2-hour stream, probably on Friday morning. Um, and Scabbynack, another thing. Now I'm feeling like Get Smart, which is relevant to what I'm about to say. So I'm looking like I'm going to go and GM a 2-hour one shot for Gen Con TV, probably on Friday. I've already started asking the cast, and once I get the cast confirmed, then I will madly start making assets and getting everything ready for the thing. And Barantor asks, what type of game? Isn't that the question? So I spent the last 2 days like going, like really pondering what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And I had a thought and I was like, okay, what if I do this? So what I'm going to do, I was really torn between two different things. And then I picked up a couple different new systems, like a couple different indie games, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe I could use this system or that system." I spent the last 2 days like racking my brains about systems. So this is what I'm gonna do. I was like, what if I did something with just two players, right? And I was like, I could do something with just two players. Um, in the end, I got too excited and I asked 4 people to be players, and I've heard back from 2 of them. So 2 people are a go. Um, one of whom is Gloss and Gadgets. So that's Barantor. That's where that comes in. But what was I doing? I did that. I'm going to do this. So, Hrothgar says, I apologize, but I'll have to decline. I know you didn't ask me and all, but I will be working Fridays. I see you. Okay, but Hrothgar, by the way, I'm giving you some love, Hrothgar. But here's, okay, are you ready for this? And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something, okay, this is what I was thinking. I'm going to tell you my thought process, even though we are not completely finished with it, because maybe you want to know my GMing thought process, right? So it's like, okay, I've got 2 hours. 2 hours is not a lot of time for a one shot. That's like a short amount of time. So what if I just had 2 players? Because if I had 2 players, then that means that I could get everybody can get a lot of really good RP time, right? That'd be really good. Sure. So I think when I do something with two players, and I was like, okay, what would be really good to do with two players only? Please note, even though I said I only wanted to do two players, for the record, I've asked four people, and either we'll get all four, and then we'll have four players, or we'll get less, and we'll have between two or three. But the point is, even though I was originally this whole thing came about because I was thinking about what I could GM with just two players because I thought that two players would be a really good number for 2 hours. But then I got too excited. Is what happened. I got too excited. And I didn't ask Carlin because he knows Friday's my game day. But actually, there's a reason that I thought you might find interesting about this. In that time frame, I would want people who have played together before, so there is chemistry already, right? That's always also very helpful. But so this is what happened. I was like, okay, well, for 2 hours, I'm gonna want something that is kind of iconic, something you can do in that time frame. And I was like thinking, what could I do? And I thought, okay, well, I could do like 50s noir, sort of kind of maybe like a buddy detective, buddy cop thing, or something along those lines. Something about like two people, right? And I was like, you know what I could do? Um, I could do. I was gonna do noir. I could do a noir buddy cop kind of a thing. And I was looking at some uh, like noir systems, and I have a couple already. So I was like, oh, that could be really good. I could do that. Man, that could be good. And then I realized, no, no, I'm gonna do a 2 hour thing for Gen Con. I should do the Avengers, not the superheroes, but the 1960s spies. I should do a 1960s spy-fi thing because those are like hour-long TV shows, which means you could definitely do that in a 2 hour one shot. And the Avengers are like two people. A lot of those spy shows, like Man from Uncle, uh, Get Smart, like a lot of those things are like our two agents. So like uh, I Spy, right, all that stuff. I could do like a good two-person, 2 hour one-shot 60s spy-fi game. Boom, right? Um, So I thought I should do that. And then I thought, wait a minute. If I'm going to do a 1960s spy thing, that means I can ask some people that I've been wanting to play with for a long time, like play with again for a while, who are British. And I was like, oh, I could ask Gloss and Gadgets because I've been wanting to play with her again for way too long. Like, we haven't played together in like 2 years, a year and a half, something like that. And I was like, and she's British, and it would be so cool and fun. And then there was like another person who was like, oh my gosh, if I'm gonna do the Avengers, I need to ask so and so who's also British. She's like, oh, and then what about so? And so basically, I've made an ask of four players, all of whom are British, and looks like we can get a good time slot that'll be friendly to UK folks, like either like 10 in the morning Eastern or 12 noon Eastern on Friday. So it looks like, even though, again, remember, it has not been like it's not set in stone yet. It's not set in stone. That's right, Baron since Saltmarsh. We haven't played since Saltmarsh, which is way too long, in my opinion. In my opinion. Uh, so yeah, so I've asked four British streamers who I want to play with, um, all of whom I have played with before, but all of them I want to play with again, and in a UK friendly time slot. So like hopefully noon. That's my hope, is noon Friday, and uh, nothing has been confirmed yet. It's not been confirmed, but there's a really good chance, y'all, because we're like moving and grooving. I just have to do some things tonight for paperwork purposes. But all I'm saying is that, oops, pardon me, it's entirely possible that I'm going to be able to do this like really cool thing next Friday. And I wanted to tell you all about it because how cool would that be? Rissa says, Drat, I'll be working and then have to go to the DMV. Ugh, there will be a VOD. I hope so. Yes, I hope there will be a VOD. Yes. Hey, Schmelza. Hello. So, ooh, pardon me. So I just did that. So I have to do this. So what I wanted to tell you is that I was really, really excited for it. I was very, very, like, it was that kind of thing. It's like, oh, you know what? If I'm going to do this thing, right, for for like Gen Con TV, this whole big deal. I want to do something really fun and cool, something that like is close to my heart that I think I can do in 2 hours, and I that's what I came up with. So I'm really excited about it. That sounds awesome. All the British people I can think of you've played with will be very fun. That's all I'm saying. I've played with some very courier, some very cool British people, and so right, I'm very excited about that. I am. I'm really excited about it. So again, this is not a confirmed thing, right? It's not a confirmed thing, but the likelihood is high. Like 8 ball points to yes being very very likely. So that's going to be a thing for next week, and I'm going to basically try to sort of get everything confirmed really really quickly, and get everything under so that I can make a good announcement and all of that. So that's something that I'm. Hey, and Nino, how are you? That's something I'm really excited for. Um, the other thing I can't actually tell you about at all. It's just the mysterious email. So I got a mysterious email, and then hold on, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. So, on a different topic, is tomorrow's Colos back? Tomorrow's Colos is back to the full team, but Dot may not be able to make it. So we might have everybody but Dot. So we'll just have to see. But it should be the whole group. Plus or minus a Dot. And then the week after will be KP's solo. And then we will be in uh, groups for a while. And then Dot will be having her solo, I think October the 15th. Will be Dot solo, which will have to be pre-recorded because she's going to she can't be there because she's going to be going to a music festival. So we'll pre-record her solo, like probably like right after the Friday before, and then I will be here to air that one. So that is what we're looking at there. Um, Crit Witch says, I'm happy for you and us, but I worry about your plates in the air, but I believe in you and support you. Thank you. Thank you, Crit Twitch. I'm paying attention to my plates in the air, and I have to say no to someone who wants me to do like just a huge amount of work. But it's also work that I feel like other people could also do who are not me. So I'm going to be saying no to that. I said yes to another thing. But my point is, it'll be fine. But I want to tell you about this super secret thing that I cannot tell you, and I'm not going to say anything specific because I'm not allowed to, and also it's not settled. But I'm going to just sort of talk around it for a moment. I just want you to sleep before a full day of streaming. Oh, I will sleep. Okay, so listen. I got a DM and somebody said to me, "There's this thing that I want to like recommend you for. Do you have an email?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So I gave the email. And then I didn't hear anything for a couple of days. And then I got an email. And the email said, "Hey, there's this thing. It's a possibility. Do you want to talk about it?" And I was like, "Yes." But it wasn't clear what it was because I had to sign an NDA before they could tell me anything. So I signed the NDA and I sent it back and I said, "Here's my NDA, so I will not talk about this thing. But whatever it is, I'm sort of interested. Give me more details." And I just got the email the other night with more details of what the thing is, asking me if I'd be interested in this thing. I have not emailed them back yet to say what I think about their email, but all I'm going to say is it could be cool. I can't, and I clearly cannot say anything, but it could be very cool. And we shall see, is what I'm going to say. We shall see. When I can tell you things, I will tell you things, but I currently cannot tell you things. Also, it's still up in the air, but what I will say is it's really exciting. So that's what I'm going to tell you. It's really exciting. Da-da! Da-da! Da! And when I say it's really exciting, I do mean that it's really exciting. That's all. So this is it is very intriguing. Even though you can't tell us, look, I can't tell you, but I will tell you that it may not happen. If it does happen, it means some work. But when I can tell you, you'll be like, "What? You're gonna go to the moon?" Oh, I just told you I was gonna go to the moon. It's not. That's actually not what it is. But you know what I'm talking about. So Krellin says, so you just spent 20 minutes trying to tell us that you want to tell something, but you can't tell something, but this something is very exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting. So, that's what I wanted to share. Okay. Yes. I feel like I just did all that. That said, yeah, this is me under an NDA. This is me being like, I can't actually tell you anything because I'm not allowed to. But what I will tell you is that uh, there's a possibility of a thing that could be very cool. Um, what else do I want to tell you? I want to tell you two other things. I think wait. I'm not done. I'm spooling up the long dark, just so you know. But I know I'm not done telling you things. But this is we're just gonna go here while I try to figure out what it was. Um, I oh this is academic stuff that you may not care about, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I went and um, Nino, what a Nino. Um, oh hey, episode 4 launches fall 2021. Key art and title reveal. Hello everyone, the long wait is nearly over. Today we reveal the key art and title for episode 4 of the Long Dark's Winter Mute story mode. Whoa. Trooper doing cool stuff also. Well, okay, hold on. Wait, Anino. I don't always do cool stuff. Sometimes I don't do any cool stuff at all. Sometimes my stuff is super boring. Ooh. Uh, okay. All right. We did good stuff there. Hold on. I need to do one thing or I'll be sad in my life. Let me disable flow until sunrise because I don't want us to, you know. Um, you're not on camera. You're doing boring stuff. I have some thoughts about that. First off, I am not cool at all. At all. Like, I'm just not cool. I I I had a thought about coolness the other day, actually. That hold on a second. Wait. Hey, you know what? I think my landlord's here. Give me a second, y'all. I think my landlord's here. And if he's here, I do want to just, because we've got that whole air conditioning thing, I just want to check in to see how he's doing. So this is what I'm going to do. Give me a second. I'm going to just poke my head out just because I want to make sure everything's fine. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna be right back in like 1 minute. 1 minute. Hey, I didn't realize that I had a 5 minute timer on there. How cool is that? But it was less than 5 minutes. So I'm gonna just tell you what happened. It's not even really. It's not a whole bunch. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit. But while I tell you, I'm going to make sure that we're back in the game because then I feel like I'm being productive. Although we were super productive last time, I'll note. Uh, how many times do I think Mackenzie will snap his ankle today? I feel like he's a whiner, and I feel like he should maybe stop whining. Is my thought. Um, so, um, what I did want to do actually was I wanted to figure out how much fuel and stuff I have because I don't think I have like I've got a bunch of matches, but I clearly do not have things that I need in order to keep fires burning. So I'm just gonna kind of note that. I also think like we've got this rancid wolf meat that we really do need to cook before it goes super super bad. So I just feel like we should maybe uh, get some just burn some stuff. Ooh, look at me right now. I am uh heavy. Also, yes, I'm gonna just drink some water. Uh, call him a whiner. Way to blame the victim trooper. If he wanted me not to say bad things about him, he could. I'm gonna just break this down. He could stop snapping his ankle. I mean, oh no, uh, that meat just got ruined. Oh dang it. Also, it's super dark. Uh, are you playing survival story mode? Hey, the Max Holt. We're playing story mode, and it is my first time playing the story mode. So I'm a first timer, one thing you can learn about me is that I like to uh, be over encumbered. A thing about me is that I sometimes am over. Well, and when I say sometimes am over encumbered, I kind of mean, oh no, look at that! I went and I got all that wood, and that wolf meat is completely ruined now. Well, well, at least we have wood. I mean, that's something, right? Yeah. Well, there we go. That's some ruined wolf meat just hanging out here. That's that's what we got. Uh, yeah, no, I'm a little weighty. And look, it's I just feel like what we have here is that Mackenzie, the main character, is just a little bit too whiny. You know what I mean? He just complains all the time about. He's like, "Oh, I'm carrying too much stuff. Oh, you're not letting me sleep. Oh no, you're just having me drink coffee and not sleep." He just needs to just toughen up a little bit. Sure, he's attacked by wolves often. Hey, do you think we should go to sleep? I mean, it's kind of dark, right? I mean, I suppose we could. Let's do that. Let's go to sleep. We're gonna we're gonna extinguish and we're gonna just sleep for a little bit and it'll be fine. Let's sleep for like 9 hours maybe. Oh, I should have had some tea. Should have had tea. Sorry about that. Oops. Um, the way he pants pisses me off. I mean, right? No, I dropped the ruined food. The ruined food is now dropped. Also, it is still dark. Let's give ourselves like another 2 hours maybe. Nobody chooses the loot goblin life. The loot goblin life chooses you. Right. This is what happens. This is my life. Um, okay, it looks like it's almost dawn. Oh, hey, let's drink some soda. Let's do that thing where we eat and drink a little bit and and by eating and drinking we lessen our load. So like we are, I mean, like really, I feel like what we're doing is um, just being. I justify the fact that I harm him quite a lot, but I mean, I just what can you do? Let's when I play survival, I always choose Ostrich because Mackenzie's panting makes me want to run him over a cliff. I have never played survival yet. I will have to do once we finish the story mode. I'll have to do that. And we just saw that they're going to come out with episode 4. Hey, y'all, are we in episode 2 or 3 right now? You all know this. I feel like I should know this, but I don't know this. What episode are we in? Are we in 3? The first one, we're trying to deal with that bear. 2. We're in 2. Thank you. We're in 2. So we're in 2. We have not. The bear is still trying to kill us. But you know. Oh yeah. I suppose I have to finish off the bear before. Okay. So let's just, for the record, I would like to know we're at 54 kilos. We're less than 20 kilos over our max. I feel like we are just really. And look, we're even moving more quickly than we were before. I do. I worry just a little bit. I do have to try survival mode. Now, what is the difference between survival mode and story mode? I imagine survival mode is just basically a sandbox where you run around and try not to die, I assume? Yes? Probably? Hopefully? Um, we have got like a little side quest to finish up and then we'll jump in. Um, Look at that. Good. I feel like I don't need to outrun the bear. Now I have a special magic spear and helmet. And the magic spear and helmet means that I'll be good, right? I mean, we're just going to go and deal with the wolves that like to hang out here on the way. And I really worry about myself sometimes. I really do. It's fine. Hey, Valtio, how are you? I'm doing very well. Yes, survival as long as you can. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Hey, Night Angel. 451. It's just... All right. Do you have... And then when you die, you start over. Huh. Is it more difficult than story mode? Or, like, are there... What are the differences? I mean, I imagine there aren't, like, NPCs to talk to. Like, do you... Like, so, I assume no NPCs. None of this like trying to find Ostrid and all that business, I assume. But I do wonder if there's like a... Yeah, what are the differences? Magic Spear offers no protection. The key to survival is Magic Spear and is Spear and Magic Helmet, not Magic Helmet and Spear. Dang it. Oh, well. Well, hopefully. So, I wonder if I were less encumbered if I'd have better accuracy. Survival is a lot of a lonelier, more reflective. Oh, that's interesting. I should try it at some point just to see what it's like. What the vibe is. Dang it, I said it wrong. The second should have been Magic Spirit Helmet. Right. Yeah. That's true. So, about this game that I'm probably very likely going to be running for Gen Con. Probably, right? Very likely. I'm torn between... There's a system called The Agency, which is this, like, indie game. And here we go. Whoo! Hey, everybody. I just killed that wolf in its face. That was amazing. I'm going to now butcher it and then have more meat on me and then also be more encumbered. Because I feel like, what's the point of being less encumbered? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is my feeling on that one. You're not allowed to actually shoot. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to actually shoot the wolves. Okay, well, we're in the middle of a snowstorm now. That's not great. Well, what we'll do is eat food. That makes us feel better. And then drink water. And all of that is just a means to lower our encumbrance. And, oh, dang it. You know what? We hadn't gone very far. Oh, gosh. I can't even tell where anything is. I think what we do is we go back to the house, cook this stuff up, and because there are 2 cooking slots on that stove, which will lower our weight a little bit, and then we won't be in the middle of a blizzard. I just feel like we just do that. Also, my goodness, I can't even see anything. Also, I'm not heading the right direction, so that probably explains some stuff. Yeah. Yeah, now we can carry it. I would have flubbed that. Yeah, the shooting is tricky. Drop the nearly rotten meat. Since, oh, no, I already dropped it. The nearly rotten meat is already dropped. It's because it actually just got ruined and is rotten. Yeah, so we're going to go back. We're going back to the cabin. Survival isn't linear at all. There are no set goals other than not to die. It sounds much less engaging. Oh, you know what though, Night Angel? Night Angel. I'm very into like weirdly meditative experiences. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody's like, oh, that wouldn't be engaging, but I'm engaged by a lot of really odd things. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like just like, there are some games I've not played that people say sound. Oh, I just got a sub. Odious. We just got a sub. I want to go and sing the name game. I also want to not die in the blizzard. So, Odious, I'm going to name game you the minute I can get into this cabin. And then I'm name gaming you. Also, the most engaging stream on Twitch. Also, hi. Thank you. I'm going to get around this rock into the cabin, out of this, because I'm dying of hypothermia. I'm not dying yet. I'm just hypothermiaing a bit. Once I get in, I'm going to name game it. Oh yeah, in a survival mode, there's no map. Oh, you have to make it yourself with charcoal. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Where do they start you off at the plane crash? I find wandering around in pilgrim mode very meditative. Oh, I bet that. What's pilgrim mode?
Need to find some place to escape this cold.
Look, I know. I understand that. We're on our way to the cabin, Mackenzie. Just relax a little bit. Also, am I wearing both pairs of pants right now, or did I forget my pants? Oh gosh, I'm wet. This is terrible. Also, Don't die. Let's hold on. Let's save our game at the moment before we die, and then we're gonna just push forward. Yeah. Uh, Survival of the goal is mostly exploration. There's a lot more minor map changes that are fun. Just a little bit of frostbite. I know, it's just a little bit of frostbite. I'll be fine. Yeah, I see the hypothermia risk. You just...
Cold.
Mackenzie. Mackenzie? That's all. No, you start in either a zone you choose or a random zone. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like the starting location is semi-random, but I may be misremembering. No rush. Writing a paper is so sudden, musical interludes might not be helpful. oh. We're just gonna get ourselves into this cabin, and then we'll start a fire, and everything will be fine. And then I'm gonna sing, because I want to sing your name, because I love singing your name for the name game. There are multiple levels with different levels of animal aggression and loot. Oh, interesting. Okay. And weather severity. Ooh, interesting. I am wearing the extra pants. They're just now wet, so that's terrible. But we are, like, we're just steps away from this cabin. See, I try to leave the cabin, and then there's a blizzard. It's unfortunate. But I did kill a wolf. A few games I've seen people playing lately that are more meditative include Power Wash Simulator and Lake. Oh, I was thinking about Flower is a game that I've heard really good things about, but I've never played. There's some kind of like, I think it was a PS3 game. I think I never played it because it was PS3 and I didn't have a PS at the time. I had an Xbox. So, you know, I'm just thinking about some of these kind of interesting games like that. You can pick where to start except on Interloper, the hardest level. Oh, interesting. Look, we're not going to die. Probably. And you can only save your game when you sleep. Oh, that's interesting. Not manually. And when you die, there's no getting back to the save. It's really? Oh. So it's like a roguelike. Oh, that's interesting. Quality chasms in the cost versus benefit of electronic medical records for single site, small population. Oh, did I play Traveler? I did. I actually was a fan of that. I am going to just cut up this chair while we're here. Just gonna cut it up. I actually made a Traveler character on the Discord at one point in time to find out, just to do it. I really want to, okay, look, I'm gonna tell you while we're getting towards this fire, so that we can make our lives better. Yeah, if you lose your bedroll, I think it's game over for you. I'm torn. I want to run Traveler, right? I want to GM some Traveler, but I'm torn between two different options. The first is GURPS Traveler Interstellar Wars, which I love. I love that implementation of Traveler. I think it's really great. You always check for your bedroll matches and tin can pot before you... Yes. Yeah. I really need to do that, is what I need to do, because it was... Yeah, I forgot this bedroll, and then I was just, like, on a lot of caffeine for a while, and it was not the best. It was actually just kind of bad. All right, so let's start a fire. What's his face? Why do I have no accelerant? I should have accelerant. I'm a little concerned about my lack of accelerant. Yeah, I did. I forgot one. It was, I just forgot one, and then I was wandering around, and I didn't have one, and my life was very, very sad. Also,
All right.
I would like to point out how great it was that I was able to successfully start that fire. Now, just real quick, we are going to cook some of this meat, and also we'll have some hot soup while we're here. Like, we're just gonna, take care of ourselves a little bit. Oh yeah, Journey and Flower, all things I really wanted to get into and sort of check out. Oh wait, sorry. While we're here, hold on a second. While we're here, we need to take off all of our wet clothes and let them dry out while we're here. Right? So we need to do that. Right? so that was a good thing. Was like I didn't want to forget that we were supposed to be drawing. Oh, and hold on. Also, while we're here, I should also drop. I've got that carcass and whatnot. The not the where is it? Hold on, wolf pelts and guts. Right? We'll just drop those things while we're here, and everything will be fine. That's what we got. Where was that? The mining. Oh wait, you died of hunger and thirst. Ooh, Max Holt. That sounds awful. Also, it sounds like there's some kind of interesting story things. Let's just eat this. That I might also need to learn sometime soon. So that's exciting. Let's also cook more of this meat. I've got a bunch of meat. We're just gonna cook it. Also, why does this take so long? It's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. It's okay. You're still. Oh, hey, the Max Holt. Speaking of trauma. Oh wait, I can sing the name game now because we're outside of the blizzard. Okay, Odious. Don't let me forget to tell you all about The Sims and trauma and my mother. But as we were saying, the name game for our sub. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. Or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Odious, 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 babodious, banana, fanner, fofodious, fee, fi, momodious. Odious, the name game. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh. Oh yes, thank you, Berntor. So speaking of trauma, my mom used to play like.
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Pow. Thank you, the Max Holt, for that follow. Thank you so much. By the way, Rockwell was like one of the children of Berry Gordy, and that explains how he got that record contract, I think. So my mom liked video games. My mom and I actually were on. So back in the 80s, there was a game show called Starcade, which was people would play arcade games. My mom and I were on it because my mom played video games too. My mom was cool. And she was like, it's like she'd play like Tomb Raider or whatever. And I remember that I was like, you know what, I want to give my mom like a modern video game, you know what I mean? Like something that's new and it's happening. And I was like, I want to get her something because she played video games back in the day. Let me see if I can get her into new stuff. And so I got her The Sims because I was like, she might like that. She might like The Sims. And I left it off to her and I went back off where I was at. I was like, not in the same state or somewhere else, somewhere's different. And I was like, I might have been in grad school at the time, maybe. I didn't remember. Anyway, I was like, Mom, so how are The Sims doing? How are you enjoying The Sims? And she says to me that she was playing The Sims and then she stopped. And I was like, what? Why? So when you start up The Sims, there's like a generic pair of pre-made Sims like Betty and Barney Sim or whatever that have like a house and they live there for you. And she was like playing with them. And, starting Sims are not particularly competent when it comes to cooking. They often will like burn the house down when they're trying to make salad. So apparently she was trying to get them to cook, and then a fire started, and she was trying to get them to put out the fire, and they just started freaking out as the way that Sims do. And then they both burned alive, and she was so traumatized by them burning alive that she couldn't play the game again. And I said, Mom, I will reset the game for you. I will reinstall it so that they're not dead, so you can start again. But that was a thing that happened with my mom, that she was so distressed by, their by watching them burn alive, that she just couldn't play the game again for a while. Yeah, and yeah. Sims was like late 90s, early aughts. Yep. Yeah. And so yeah, that was the thing that she, well, not playing that game again. She's right, because I think it was probably because, look, if you've never played the game before, watching your, like, I bet she bonded with her Sims a little bit, right? She's like, she probably liked them, and then they had to make a salad, but they tried to make it on the stove, and then they burned alive, and the entire house starts burning, and they're freaking out. Because, like, the very first time you see your Sims die, it can be a little bit traumatizing. I mean, not like big T trauma, but like, especially when you keep clicking on them and telling them to put out the fire and they don't, they just, or like call the fire department and all they do is like run around and then they catch fire and die. Like, I can see that being a little bit upsetting. Like, I can see that being a thing that might not make you happy, for example. Teach her the Sims cheat codes so she doesn't have to deal with that again. I know, right? The Max Holt says, I know that feeling. I had a friend that deliberately killed hers by making them swim and then removing the ladder. And you're like, oh. And I think, yeah, it's, okay, so people play The Sims in really different ways, right? And it's always really interesting to me to see how people play The Sims. And one of the things that let me just take this. While we're here, I feel like we should probably cook some water. Well, I don't need that many cans. Let's just cook this too. Yeah. We're just gonna cook all the meat. It's fine. So I know people who will like boot up The Sims and then we'll just like leave The Sims running, just leave them running, and then come back hours and hours later and see where they're at. And I tried that once, and when I came back, they were all dead. And I was like, no, I'm not going to play The Sims that way. I tend to be a little bit more micromanagery of my Sims because they're not that smart. Yeah, thank you, Scabby Duck. Whoops, they're all dead. Like, you just go away, and you come back, and they're all dead. And you're like, well, that wasn't a good idea. That didn't work out. Because they're not always the smartest. You know what I mean? Like, they're not always the smartest, is all I'm trying to say. They sometimes don't understand self-preservation. Having grown up with Tamagotchi, I was very sad the first time I lost a Sim. Also, hi. Hey, your turn, my turn. Speaking of Tamagotchis, I also had a Tamagotchi, like, the little key fob one. And I always try to keep it alive and take good care of it. I suppose the question I have is, I was having this conversation with Lindy. Actually, this is really interesting, and I want to hear all of your thoughts. All of you folks, I want your thoughts on this one. So, we were talking. Okay. Back up. Let me tell you how the conversation happened. It was about. What was it? It was It was about a movie. We're talking about a movie. I think it was. What it might have been. Oh, I know what it was. Okay, this is how it happened. She wanted to get her husband a present, which was the DVDs for Star Blazers. And I was like, Star Blazers? I love Star Blazers. And I was like, that's so cool. And it turns out that she didn't mean the Star Blazers that I meant. She meant the remake that was done just like 2 or 3 years ago, a couple years ago. And I was like, oh, there was a remake of Star Blazers? Interesting, I didn't know that. And then this is what I was thinking. I was thinking about nostalgia. Yeah, Baron, I didn't know it either. So I was thinking about nostalgia. And what I was thinking about was this. Work with me. So the Transformers remakes, the Star Blazers, there have been a number of remakes of things from our Gen X childhood that have come out in the last couple of years. But my feeling is those things were not made for Gen Xers. He-Man, yeah, He-Man, She-Ra, like a bunch of things from our childhood are being remade, and my feeling is that they aren't made for us. That this is not nostalgia for us. It's nostalgia for millennials and Gen Z, right? So I was thinking about like when baby boomers, like there's a bunch of nostalgia stuff that was like for the 50s and 60s that was clearly actually made for baby boomers. Like they're like, hey, baby boomers, remember your childhood? Here's your stuff. And I think a lot of times remakes happen when those remakes are for the people like who would remember it, but we're a small demographic. And I feel like a bunch of our stuff is being remade, but not actually for us, but for millennials and Gen Z. They're made by Gen Xers for their children, right? Oh, see, okay, right? TMNT has a remake too, right? And I was thinking about, yeah, Krellin, I think you're right, right? I think that's actually, yeah, I think that's on it. And I just thought it was interesting that the nostalgia wasn't actually being made for us, but for like a different demographic. I thought that was interesting. And then I thought this is really fascinating. So then let's just get a whole bunch of water. And let me just put one more piece of wood in there. I think that'll be great because we've got a bunch of clothing that's just on the floor, I hope. I hope the clothing is there because I dropped it. So let's just hope that the clothing is underneath these pelts and then it'll be great. Let me see. Oh, wait. Thank you, because I don't have access to my cursor. I love this thing. Let me share this thing with you. Yeah. You're thinking this. They're being made because executives are cowards who don't want to take risks and therefore drawn to existing IPs. Ooh, I always feel that somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-pow. See, okay, but here's the thing, Toy Boat. I think there's a difference between bringing back an old IP to appeal to nostalgia for the people for whom that thing was their thing, and bringing back old IP for nostalgia purposes for somebody for whom that wasn't their thing. And that's the thing I'm thinking about. Of course, executives just want to bring back old IP, but I think they're doing it in a way that's different, right? I think that they're, rather than bringing back old IP as nostalgia for Gen Xers, I think they're bringing back Gen X IP as nostalgia for millennials and Gen Z, which is different than bringing back old IP, old boomer IP as nostalgia for boomers. If you see what I'm saying, like I think there's like a different, because when I watch these things, I'm like, oh, this isn't made for me. This isn't actually trying to appeal to me, this thing. All the horror remakes of Gen X classics are clearly not made for us either. They're so like, and whether, yeah, right. So I just kind of feel like they're aiming at something different. So then I was talking to Lindy, and Lindy's like, oh, I read an article. Bringing back old IP because new IP is dangerous and scary with the budgets that go into these projects. Yeah. Do you think the more recent Pede Steel Avengers was made in this? Do you, although the She-Ra remake is actually made by millennials. Right, so I think some of these things might actually also be made by millennials as well. So Your Turn, My Turn says, and when you say the more recent Pede Steel Avengers, do you mean the one that was from the 90s? That 90s one with Ralph Fiennes and Uma Thurman? The one that's like almost like 30 years old now? That one? So it was about 30 years old. They had Sean Connery in it. So I think it was sort of aimed at, well, that one's tricky. That one's tricky because that's a boomer show, right? So The Avengers is a boomer show. And they did get Sean Connery to be in it. I think it probably was sort of, I don't think that Avengers was aimed at Gen Xers. Like, I think that was aimed at boomers, yeah. Oh, thank you. Let me get that wolf meat. Thank you. While we're here, let's see if there's anything I can cook that would be useful while we're at it. Speaking, you know what? What do I have? I have one reishi tea, rose hip tea. Yeah, let's make some herbal tea while we're here, because we might as well try to go and be practical. Ooh, yes, I should make coffee too. Thank you, Rissa. I also need to make coffee. Absolutely. Thank you. So Lindy was telling me about an article that was really interesting, and this is where I wanted to bring this up. There's a whole conversation to lead to this moment. So Boomer stuff is made for boomers because boomers have money, yes, and are numerous. Gen Xers are too small in number and we don't have money. Yeah, that's right. While millennials are numerous but also don't have money, but maybe you can get $10 off million. Yes, Krellin, absolutely. This is my thought as well, right? That we're not actually an attractive demographic because there's just not enough of us, right? And also everyone forgets that we exist. So anyway, forgetting that we exist is part of where we're going in this conversation. So Lindy said that she read an article that was really interesting, and she said, the article said, this is what she said the article said, that millennials are the most nostalgic generation, that they're like, they are way more into nostalgia than like the other generations, which would also explain in some ways the OSR, the old school revival, old school renaissance, right? That would, you're right, that does make sense. Let's see what we can do in terms of coffee. And I was like, I wonder why, right? Like, I wonder why. This is an interesting question. And how is this, right? She said this thing. Now, this is not her opinion. This is the article's opinion. She said the reason why millennials are so nostalgic, according to this article, and I'm going to point out, spoiler, it irritated me, this reasoning, because I hear this all the time, and I don't like it. And what she said was, by the way, this whole conversation was inspired by the Tamagotchi thing, which I hope I'll get back to. Zach S is a late extra like me, though. Yeah, but that is true. He is. But I think a lot of the younger folks who are into the OSR, because I remember talking about nostalgia, and somebody's like, "Oh, it can't be nostalgia because I wasn't even born in the 70s or 80s." So like, there was like a bunch of people who wanted to say that it couldn't be nostalgia because they were too young, and I was like, "That's not how nostalgia works." But anyway, so this article says that the reason why millennials are the most nostalgic is because they are they're the only generation that had the transition, that they transitioned between the old and the new, right? That the other generations, like the older generations only know what it's like to be analog, and the newer generations only know what it's like to be digital. But they're that one generation that was in that transition between the analog and the digital. They remember what it's like to play outside, but also to have computer games and the internet and these things. And I'm an exennial, so I'm the rarest carrot. Hrothgar says, that makes a lot of sense. As they were starting to figure out the world, 9/11 happened. As they got into the real world, economy crashed. Now the world is ending. They're nostalgic for the mess around the world instead of the find out world. Krellin, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, I just want to bring this up because Krellin just said out loud what I felt. Absolutely, right? So, yes, Krellin, you are the one. You just said what I was thinking. I played D&D in middle high school, started young, used my books. Yeah. So when I get really bugged when people say the millennials are the ones that, they know what it's like to transition from not having the internet to having the internet. They know what it's like to transition from not having X to having X. And the reason why this bugs me so much is because that's just like, that's Gen X. Like, that was us. And they're like, and they're like, well, yeah, but you don't know what it's like. Like, you didn't have, let me take this, and then I'm going to use my little, I'm going to use my, what do you call it? I've got water purification tablets, and I'm going to use them because they're going to die otherwise. Let's use these, and that seems very practical. Yeah, 78 is either, like, yeah, that's young Gen X, old, yeah. But Rissa, there is no Gen X. And I feel like that's the thing that kind of makes me wild, right? Let's see. We have another gallon of unsafe water, which I will just use my little tablets on, and we'll use those. Right, and I was just thinking about the ways in which millennials talk about these things being only happening to them, like, oh, only us have experienced X, Y, and Z. And I was like, for heaven's sakes, Gen X is right here, right here. And I'm 82. It's weird being the young person in Twitch chat. Hey, Atomica. And the thing is, 78 to 82 used to be Gen Y. It was considered a different generation, but then they just kind of got rid of Gen Y and just kind of split that up. But like my sister is in that exennial sort of mode. And she was so irritated when they took away Gen Y and just moved her into like Gen X. She's like, I'm not Gen X. She's like, I'm not a millennial. She was like, I'm Gen Y. So she gets a little angry about the fact that she was, uh, you know, um, we're going to just take all this stuff and, hey, where's my clothing? Hey, where'd my clothes go? Hey everybody, I have this terrible thought. I have a really terrible thought, and my terrible thought is I didn't actually take off any of my clothes. And so they didn't actually dry, which is hilarious. Although they look dry to me, so I suppose it's fine. Oops. I suppose we're fine, everybody. Like, uh, yeah. So, we're fine. We're great. We're fine. Um, yeah. They switched on you. Now I have to go back to pretending I'm young. Uh, they do. Oh yeah. I will drop them off here. I will drop them off here. Ooh, the name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, more an M will appear. And then I say he bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Atomica, atomica, banana, fana, fo, atomica, fee, fi, mo, atomica. Atomica, Wizard styles, bo, Blizzard styles, banana, fana, fo, fizzard styles, fee, fi, mo, mizzard styles. Wizard styles, the name game. All right. Well, at least the clothing got dried. So let me go and drop off those guts that I clearly don't need to keep with me right now. Let's drop that fresh gut. Drop it. More fresh guts. More fresh guts. Also more fresh guts. And some wolf pelts. Boom! And look at that. We might be a little encumbered. You know what? I'm going to drop... you know what I'm going to do right now as we're speaking about this? I am going to see if there's anything I can do in terms of repairing. And if I can repair something, maybe that'll like lighten my load a little bit. We'll just check it out. So geriatric millennials. Oh, wait, oh, yeah, I should drop that scrap. Let me see if I can use this scrap metal. If I can use it, then I'll use it right now, and then I'll drop it. I had to confront someone about parking my driveway a few weeks ago. I felt so old. 90 here, and I always confused the Millennial Jack's archetypes until more recently I realized I identify as a cantaloupe. Oh, cantaloupe? That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So anyway, it was just one of those things where it is just a source of frustration to me that when, oh yeah, let's just repair this. This will be great. It's just a source of, are you really playing today if you're not waddling around like a bear in some post-apocalyptic survival? You know, this is a good question. I am not certain, but I'm trying to like do my best to just be like, oh, hey, let me at least try to be less encumbered, maybe, perhaps. Also, I have no whetstones. But, Toy Boat Sailor, the name game. Come on, everybody. I say, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say he bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Toy Boat Sailor, Toy Boat Sailor, Boat Sailor, banana fanner, for Boat Sailor, fee, fi, mo, more Boat Sailor. Toy Boat Sailor. Your turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, Boat turn. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, bo turn, my turn. No. Oh my gosh. Wait. Okay, wait. I've got this. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, bo turn, my turn. Banana fenna fo turn, my turn. Fee fi mo turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn. I've got to do it again. Your turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, bo turn, my turn. Banana fenna fo turn, my turn. Fee fi mo turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn. The name game. Ah! Ha! Okay, I got that one. Yes. Whew. There is Critical Role tonight, and I will be hosting. If you all want to hang out and watch Critical Role in a chat that does not have 60,000 people in it, you can come and watch it over here on Trooper SJP. And we have a chat up, and we're very friendly, so you can hang out with us. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Hrothgar. Your turn, my turn. I was like, wait, because there's like 4 words there, but there. Yeah, that was good. Thank you. Your turn, my turn. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm super excited for the one shot. What did I want to tell you? There was something. What was it? What was it? Also, why do I have 2 pry bars? I do not need 2 pry bars. Not a thing I need. But we can also repair the tools. And look, see, I'm just, let's repair it. Oh, I can't repair while in the dark. I see. Well, that's fine. That's okay. I can't repair while in the dark. So, also, if I have quality tools, then I don't need simple tools, right? I feel like at this moment, we are being very practical and excellent. And I'm now I'm doing really well. I just dropped all the things. Also, however, I don't know. We have a bed problem. I'm going to just drink some water while we're here. Oh, I should have drunk tea. Oh, what am I thinking about? We're witnessing history. Okay, so also I think I'm gonna just eat. We're gonna eat a little bit of food while we're here. Some moldy wolf meat because that sounds super tasty. And then we're gonna go to sleep, and then we're gonna get up in the morning, and it'll be great. And everything. You know what? Actually, I could just use a. I don't even need a. I just need a cardboard matches. Boom. Here we go. All right. Here's the bed. This is all we need. This is it. Perfect. Oh yes, save. Thanks. Good idea. Let me do that. Save. Thank you, Rissa. Right. So I was just thinking about how frustrating it is that let's sleep 8 hours. Sure, 9. It's just frustrating to me the ways in which Gen X just keeps getting forgotten about. And that's frustrating because, why? Do you hear that snowstorm that's happening outside? Why is this our life right now? Why is there yet another blizzard? Why? That's not my joy right now. I would like there not to be a blizzard. In case you were curious as to my feelings on the matter, my feelings is that I'm anti-blizzard. Also, my feelings are that it is still kind of dark, so I'm going to sleep like an hour and hope when I wake up there won't be a blizzard. Blizzard bias! See? Do you hear it? It's still out there. And it's still a little bit dark. Okay, well, let's do one more hour. Okay, so I was thinking about those 2 infographics on those 2 stories in the news. Okay, look at us. Great. Let's go out there, shall we? Let's oh hey, I got an emote, but I can't use it right now. All right, we're gonna go out there, and it's gonna be great. Yes. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So there was a story about generational attitudes based on X or Y. And I think there were two different stories in the news. One was about generational attitudes, one was about like something else. And both of these stories had infographics where they had one had the greatest generation, the silent generation, the baby boomers, millennials, and then Gen Z, and one had millennial boomers, millennials, Gen Z. And I was like, hey, you just left out Gen X out of that infographic. Like, we're an entire generation, and there's like a gap in your infographic. And the one that even had like the greatest generation and list, like, I was like, wow, just wow, okay. You're just gonna just leave us out, just like we just don't even exist at all. Wow. Wow. That was irritating, right? Hey, Ice Bunny. Hillebrow did a pretty interesting series on periodizing different generations going way, way back. Oh, cool. I would love to link it in our Discord. That sounds very interesting. I know I'm moving so fast. I'm less than 20 kilos over encumbrance, so like I feel great. And maybe since I killed that wolf, there won't be any more around to bother me. I hope. Also, I'm a little worried about like the state of my clothing, but you know, we're just gonna do our thing. We'll be fine. Um, yeah, so I just keep thinking about these stories about how like only the millennials did it. And I was like, y'all, we actually like we are so great we can be bothered with crafts. I'm not saying we're great. I'm just saying that if you want to talk about people who who like remember the difference pre and post internet, that would be us. Like we remember that transition. Oh, so we're gonna go and finish. We had that forest talker in that cabin that we promised to get their stuff for. So we're gonna go over there and find that forest talker and get that person's stuff and finish that side quest, right? Because we got a side quest we got to do, and they'll give us info, and I feel pretty good about it. And somebody was like, by the way, we're gonna get back to the Tamagotchi, and I was talking Lindsay's like, yeah, but you didn't really have video games. I was like, yeah, we did. Like, well, but I mean, not like we did. And I was like, no, we had video games. Like, but you didn't have like consoles. Like we did. We had consoles. Like we had them. They're like, well, but the graphics weren't as good. I was like, that's not the point. The point is that we did have playing indoors to play video games and also outdoors. Like we had it. Like we had the Atari, right? I know we had it. And then she said, well, but you didn't have handheld video games. Like now everything's like handheld. And I was like, we also had handheld video games back in the 80s too, and even sometimes a little bit earlier. Like, I remember them. Like, we had they had like, like you could get, like people had these little flat ones, right? And they were like the Donkey Kong one, right? Or the whatever. And then she was like, yeah, these little handhelds, right? These little handhelds, right? And Krellin, Krellin just opened up where I wanted to go, right? Opened up where I wanted to go in that whole discussion. And it was about these like little single game video games. And I was like, yeah, we had them. And she was like, ah, yes, but you didn't have like one thing that you could like swap out the video games. Like, no, that's true. We didn't have something like, you know, the Vita or like the modern sort of handhelds or like cell phones. Like, but we did have them. Like we did have like I had this Game Boy hit Japan in '89. Oh yeah. It's true. Every age group thinks they are the pinnacle of human development. Everyone before or after a troglodyte. Oh, I don't think we are. Like, I feel like maybe that's the Gen X things. Like, we don't think we're the pinnacle. It's like, we just were there. Like, we were there. We existed. That's it. Yeah. And I was thinking about, I had this really cool video game. There's like three of them. I only had one. They looked like, binoculars. Mine was like Space Tank or Tank Wars, or whatever. They look like binoculars, and they were like 3D ish, right? So that was kind of fun. But what the thing was that I thought was interesting, and she said, well, did you have anything that was like swap out? I was like, no, we didn't really for handheld. And I said, are there at this point in time today any dedicated handheld devices for one game only? And of course we couldn't think of one, right? Gen X probably remember the end of the Cold War or something. Might have had video games, but not really. Existence uncertain. Wizard Styles, you make me laugh. And so I was thinking about how, like, I don't think there are any dedicated single game games now, right? I can't think of one. In high school, I had typing class on one of those monstrous IBM Selectric typewriters, and computer classes you just 10 go to 20. Yeah, me too. And your broad sweeping generalizations have become hyper specific all of a sudden. And so then I was thinking, maybe that's why we don't have Tamagotchis anymore, right? Because Tamagotchis were a dedicated piece of electronic tech that was itself its own thing. This whole conversation is leading back to the Tamagotchis. And I was thinking about how I don't know if a Tamagotchi would work as well on like a cell phone, right? Because the Tamagotchi itself it was that little egg. It was its own little thing that you could put on your keychain, and like it was dedicated, so you always were like it was not just the program; it was also the object. That it was an object, right, of its own. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like what I'm saying makes sense. We have apps for that now. All that got rolled into phones pretty much, yeah. My rich aunt has a wicker basket next to the toilet with half a dozen handhelds like video poker and Frogger. Ooh! Okay, your turn, my turn. Your rich aunt seems really awesome. We still have Tamagotchis in 2021. Do people cell phone their Tamagotchis? Ooh, Scabby Neck, that's really interesting. Tamagotchis were like fidget toys more than video games. That's really fascinating. I'm not disagreeing with you. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that's really interesting. I'd say the Tamagotchi was the prototypical idle game. Yeah. I think you could do a Tamagotchi app. Maybe. I wonder if it would feel the same. I feel like something similar might happen to millennials eventually just because of all the things Zoomers have to deal with in their early lives. Not looking forward to being erased from history, but at least I got to 30 before all the catastrophic events started piling up. I do want to say one thing about the catastrophic events, though. I remember mechanical handheld games like the roulette wheel. Oh, yeah, I remember those. No, they just have normal keychain Tamagotchis. Oh, Mattel football. Oh, I remember those. Okay.
I've got your supplies and those documents you wanted here.
My Tamagotchi Forever is the name of the app.
Thank you.
It's on the phone. Oh, I'm going to have to check it out. Thank
I
you.
hope you understand if I ask you to just leave them outside the door.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Drop supplies, take ammo. Okay, we'll do that, I suppose.
Right. I'll
Sure.
leave it all here for you, just like you asked.
I remember I had a
Stranger.
bubble game when I was younger.
But you've made a huge difference to our cause.
You press a button that shot water into make him. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, Atomica. Check on the lake cabin tomorrow. Okay. Check on the lake cabin tomorrow. Okay, so I got to do that apparently. Atomica, I totally remember those games. That little button and it would like push up the air and you'd have to, oh my gosh, those were so fun. I remember that. I remember that very much. What? Yeah. I love that. That was super cool. Oh man, now you're making me remember those things. That's awesome. Let me just eat one of these bits of fresh wolf meat while we're here. While we're here, I might as well just have a little bit of wolf meat. It was Hello Kitty. Oh yeah. I remember those. Those were like okay, so by the way, we have to come back tomorrow to check on this cabin. That's a thing we should probably do. But while we're here and everything is nice, let's figure out what our life is like. We've got to go do the radio tower things. I don't know all the survival lessons. That's fine. We've got these. Check on the lake cabin tomorrow. That's fine. We don't have all of the caches. I think we're gonna sort of head ourselves back up. We can come back here tomorrow. We're gonna mosey. It'll be fine. Oh, the Magnet Iron Flying Mustache Guy. Yeah. I love those. Yeah. Pocket Battleship. I remember those too. Absolutely. Does he have the flu? Who? I think. Oh yeah, maybe. And my nephew has a bunch of single game digital toys, but they're more educational. He also has a watch that plays Sonic. Oh, I had a watch that had Space Invaders on it. Although it wasn't Space Invaders, it was Space Invaders, but it was knockoffs. It was like Alien Invaders. You know how they do. All right, let's walk this way. I'm walking so fast. Okay, so this is what I want to say. It also bothers me a little bit when millennials say, "Oh, like we had to live through all these terrible things," and I was like, I'm still here. Like I also lived through 9/11. Like, I was here for it too. But also, like, maybe you forgot about the first Gulf War. Like, that was there. I mean, like, it's not like, I feel like millennials and Gen Z act as if they're the only generation that's had terrible things happen. Actually, I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this, and they were like doing that thing where like only we millennials and Gen Z have had like bad things happen to us, and like nobody else understands how hard it is to have bad things happen to you. And I was like, what? Like, my generation, first off, all the things that you lived through, we have also lived through. But also, my generation also lived through awful things. Like what? It was like what? The AIDS crisis, nuclear war, like the threat of nuclear war, the Cold War, the space shuttle. Like, my generation, we all watched the Space Shuttle Challenger explode in school, like, and everybody die in middle school. A bunch of serial killers, the golden age of serial killers, Jonestown Massacre, the assassination of Mayor Moscone and Harvey Milk, the oil crisis. I mean, just like, I'm just saying, it's not like it was great before. Like, we also had awful things that were terrible. That's all I'm saying. Yes. I asked my brother what the new cool thing is in my niece's world, and he said stickers, and I was like, huh, no, dolls. My wife had air raid drills in DC for Cold War stuff in the 80s. Yeah. And my half brother was in the Navy during the Gulf War. Yeah, the first one. People forgot about the first Gulf War, but it was there. Human history is full of suffering. Perspective, y'all. Yeah. I forgot, the 70s and 80s, the golden age of serial killers. Read an interesting article about that. Bad things only happen in HD. Maybe. And Nina says, recessions. Oh, absolutely. Recession straight out of college. And then again, when I finally had my shit together, I think the only thing I'm glad for was that college wasn't expensive as it is now. Yeah. I mean, it's true, because like we had recessions too. Yeah. Trooper. We are the generation that did things that were dangerous that the generation after us were overprotected from. Oh, I'm sure they still do, Jane. Although the thing is, I have a question about this. I have a question about this. It's a question about this. But Trooper, the Vietnam War was totally awesome. Yes, everyone who went had a great time. The country was super chill and it was all happiness because everybody was a hippie, which again, not true. I grew up through the mid-late 60s and early 70s, fear of going to the big city in case the weatherman set off a bomb where we were. Oh yeah, that was something. Right, because like 60s, like there was like regular bombings. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I feel like every generation's gone through some really traumatic stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think, I don't think Gen X is special. I think we've all gone through some traumatic stuff, is all I'm saying. Yes. I'm just glad to live in a time when I can have my own bank account and own my own home. Oh, totally. Absolutely. Night Angel? Absolutely. I have to tell you, when I think about, I saw The Day After. Cults? Oh my gosh, cults, Manson, all that stuff. I have to say, when I think about my generation, recession right out of college. When I got out of college, do you know what .com? Oh, yeah. It's easy to feel stuck as a millennial when you enter the workforce during a financial crisis and homeownership is just out of reach. But yeah, I can't act like we don't have the possibility to live a lot healthier and safer than preceding generations. Yeah, and for me, I think a lot about, oh my gosh, to increase awareness of mental health alone. Oh my gosh, British Styles, absolutely. Just accommodations. There's look, all I'm going to say is, we can talk about like how bad it is, et cetera, right? But it's better now than probably ever. Do you know what I mean? I do not think I can give examples because my family is hella communist, but because we had to be perfect tiny dolls. I think about, face it, life itself is dangerous by nature. That's why life is precious. Prax! The name game. Come on, everybody. I say, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there, and then a B or an F. Hello. Now you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Wait, where's my... I know what I need. I need my cursor. Give me a second. Hello, cursor. Cursor. Yes. Okay. Hi. I don't know why that happened, but it did. And I want to thank you for hanging out with me while we were waiting for it to come back. Um, so hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, my computer crashed. Now it might be because it's hot and we don't have AC. I don't know. I'm going to go and do an investigation on why my computer crashed. I don't know, but it just did. So but we're back. We're back. Back. Are the Germans not just having names for age groups? Backfish should be... No. If there's naming decades and naming generations is not new. In the U.S. we call them the Roaring 20s, but in Germany they were the Goldene Zwanziger. They were the Golden 20s, and they called them because basically there's a lot of trauma from World War One. So it's in the U.S. we call them the Lost Generation, but I think they were calling them. They had something like that. That's something similar to it, to the Lost Generation is what they were calling it. Let me go here. We're going to find out where we actually, where we left off. Let's see. Longer lifespans, such technological development, generations not living together in the same physical space anymore. I can see a few reasons. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, everybody. Look at this.
Hey, you still alive?
We just have to walk across the...
Yeah. I'm still weak. Gonna rest up here until I'm ready to move on.
Okay, it's cool. Great. Since we're here, we're gonna eat like we did last time and walk across, and it'll be great, and everything will be lovely. It's just gonna be grand. But the Golden Zwanziger is naming this time spent. Yes, but they also had a name for the people, Ice Bunny. It was Prax. It was Prax. But speaking of Prax, I believe that I had to... I had a song to sing. Yes, but Ice Bunny, they named the time period and also the generation. And it was always they were calling them, they were die neue Frauen, die neue Männer. It's like the new men, the new women. That was that particular generation. And they were very, very much on generational sort of thoughts at that moment. I was reading, some interviews about the Comedian Harmonists, which is this band that I write on. Prax, I'm going to sing her song, but I don't want to forget this. And the members of the band, there were 6 of them, and each of them were born in different time periods. And I remember reading, they were talking about Erich Collin, one of the singers. And he was born in 1899. Everybody else was born after 1900 and later. And I remember in the interviews, Erich Collin, he was born in the last century, not like us. I was born in 1900, he was born in 1899, so he was from the older generation. He wasn't from our generation, and you could tell that he wasn't new like we were. So there's a whole sort of discourse that particular generation called themselves new. They had there were other sort of names. Modern was another one, so they were the modern generation, the new generation, modern women, modern men. They had other names that they would use in addition to them, but they very, very much had a sense of that particular generation being something to be named and different and special, and that if you were born before 1900, you were not actually the same in your mentality. That's more coming from the reform movement of the 20s, but you know more about it than I ever will. When you say reform, it wasn't about reform, it was about the fact that they were modern. Right, that they listened to jazz. Also, the jazz generation, they called themselves the jazz generation. Zazoos. There's just a bunch of names. They had a whole bunch of names for themselves generationally at the time. Depending on, in France, they were Zazoos, right? But they were jazz babies, the jazz generation, the modern generation. And it wasn't necessarily about reform because they weren't necessarily reformers, right? They were actually the generation that was a little bit later than the big reformers. A lot of the reformers did a lot of work in the teens and sort of culminated then. A lot of them just wanted to party, right? That was there was some tension between slightly older feminists, right? Who were first wave feminists, who were fighting for voting rights and all that stuff. And then like that generation that sort of hit in the 20s, who wanted to party a lot, and worked. Like there's a lot of like women in the workplace. It's like there's like a generational tension between that older generation, that younger generation that happened. So I wouldn't necessarily think of the generation that was like in the 20s are not necessarily thought of as reformers. They're thought of as well, depending on who you're talking to. People who did not like them thought of them as degenerate, right? Basically, and not political enough. Like not act like there was a lot of critique of them being not political enough. Yeah. A lot of people talk about the effect of the flu. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Flappers go to flap. Speaking of flappers flapping, Prax. Also, I do wonder why everything crashed. Reform is the Steiner and others that were experienced World War I and wanted to change how things were done. So, Prax. The name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can take a rhyme. Speaking of which, sorry, don't forget, baby boom. Out of anybody's name, the first letter of the name, treat it like it wasn't there, and then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo out of B, then I say the name, then banana, fan, or info. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Praxagorismophoria, Bobaxagorismophoria, fee, fi, fo, faxagorismophoria. No, banana, fan, fo. Praxagorismophoria, Bobaxagorismophoria, banana, fan, fo, faxagorismophoria, fee, fi, momaxagorismophoria, Praxagorismophoria. The name game. Nice. Like in 1980, like the 1980 flu was devastating, and people came out of it like, holy fuck, we can go outside, and also we didn't die, so fuck it, let's get high and dance. Also World War I, like World War I and the flu, those things together. But also what's really interesting is that there was a baby boom after that generation. So that particular little generation was like kind of a smaller generation. They were basically the Gen X, right, of the time, sort of stuck in between these two larger generations. So yeah, they were like this little in between. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But there was something I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah. I was just thinking about baby boomers the other day, because you're out of practice. This is what happens when you stream more RPGs unless it's true, Rissa. But like, it's also because yes. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Y'all, I'm pretty good right now, right? We're gonna save and like we're feeling fine. Like we don't have anything we need to do right now. That is correct. Yes. I think what we need to do is just go back to. I think we should go back to that big, the cabin where that old dude is, where I've got some things curing. Pick him up, see if we can repair some stuff, and then head off towards those radio towers, is what I'm thinking. So I'm almost part of a tiny... Yeah. There was a little baby boom, and that baby boom were the people that kind of basically filled in the ranks of early 30s stuff. My Oma would be 100 this year. No, she was not part... She's too young. The people that I'm talking about, the lost generation, they would have been born around 1900, not 1920. So the lost generation were born around between 1900, 1910. Like a little, 1905, 06, 07, 08. So they were 20 in 1920. So their 20s was basically the 1920s. And then that's it for them. It's honestly interesting how quickly people stopped talking about the flu pandemic. Oh yeah. Even in the 1920s, it's hard not to see why people wanted to move on, but it was ignored very thoroughly. Yep. Lost Generation, aka Call of Cthulhu PCs. Absolutely. If you were born in 1920, you were not part of that generation. right? Because you want to be like a, yeah. My Oma was, yeah, yeah. So she was not the Lost Generation Ice Bunny. She's much too young for that. The Lost Generation was born around the turn of the century and were like in their 20s, in the 20s. So they were the ones who were like, basically the Lost Generation were too young to fight in World War One. So they saw their older siblings and everybody die in World War One. So they come into like their 20s in this middle of like an economic boom, but they're seeing all this sort of like huge devastation from World War One. So they're seeing people like with half a face burnt off from mustard gas on the streets, and sort of dealing with like sort of, they didn't fight in World War One, but they have these really strong feelings in the aftermath of World War One, and they're sort of living in this moment, right? Let's say 20 to 29, 30, and then of course the economic crash happens, and so they're of that one particular little moment, that one. Her parents married in 20 on the day that Schleswig decided they wanted to be Danish or German. Yeah. So they got to watch Rambo plays. Some of them fought more one because they are Sherman Potter. Yes, some of them did. Some of them did. The silent generation were the generation of the Korean War. So it's the forgotten generation, which is the 20s. Then you have like the greatest generation, I believe, which is then World War II. Then you have the baby boom, which are the boomers, right? And then you've got the forgotten generation, which is the Korean War era, Carter, right? And then you've got Gen X, and then you've got millennials, and then you've got Gen Z. So those are those for our century. By the way, we're gonna see if we can like do some repairs. So this I wanted to tell you, which I thought was sort of interesting. My grandpa was born exactly in 1945, baby boom, and was both a pioneer of radar and one of the old guard because it didn't last long in the Air Force. Oh, that's so interesting. So I want to talk about boomers for a second. This is what I was thinking about. People are like really like harsh on boomers. Like, boomers are the worst. They're blah 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 blah. Like blah 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 blah. And I was just watching this movie that I hadn't seen in a while. Greatest Generation is a very American term. I don't think anyone will be surprised when I say that we don't have that in Germany. Absolutely. But the boomers, the baby boomers, I can't remember what they call them in Germany. There's a term for them as well. But I'm probably going to stop streaming at like at 9:15-ish, probably-ish. We'll see. 9:15-ish. But generation change every 10 years. So, they sometimes give you 20 years for a generation. Sometimes they'll give you 20 years. Like, how long a generation is a bit variable. They've got some different, like, it's not always just 10. Sometimes they say it's about 20, 10 to 20. Yeah. My grandpa's one of the smartest people. Hey, you've only ever heard of baby boomer? Oh my gosh, yeah, no. There's some, I think there are a couple other ones. Yeah, like 15 to 20, for a generation. So I was thinking about boomers, and everyone's like talking smack about boomers, right? Oh, boomers, blah, 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 blah. They're the worst. And I was watching this movie, which is it's a favorite movie of mine. It's a movie that I really love. I think it's really, really good. And I haven't seen it in like 20 years. I haven't seen it in a really long time, this movie. Oh gosh, come on. Mackenzie, why'd you have to snap your ankle like that? Fine. We'll take care of it. It's fine. We'll just like go and treat that. It's fine. It's fine. Let's see. Let's go and treat this sprained ankle. And let's take some painkillers, of which I'm sure you have a whole bunch. Maybe not a whole bunch, but let's just take that. Yep, that's great. We do need a snapped ankle counter. We clearly do. This is like, I'm carrying so little clothing right now. Like, I'm very well behaved, I think. Like I feel like I'm very well behaved. Let me just eat some of this. Okay, so uh, like like it's very good right now. So this movie, it's a movie that I love very much. I think it's very, very good. It's very intense. It's a very intense movie. It's a very intense movie. And I haven't seen it in like 10, 15 years, 20 years maybe. Um, 15 years. And I wanted to show it to some friends of mine. I was like, hey, let's go watch this movie. So we did. We watched the movie. And they were like, wow, that's a super intense movie. And I was like, I know, it really is. Um, uh, what is that you have 2062 of? It's not charcoal. No, I doubt it. What do I have? I don't think I have 62 of hardly. Oops, anything. Oops. What do we have? I don't think I have 62 of anything. I really don't. Um, I've got a bunch of like these mushrooms. I've got. I've got a bunch of these cattail heads for Tinder. That's what I got. There we go. All right, let's get over this mountain, shall we? Don't don't break anything, or I'll be super mad at you. Anyway, so it's this movie, right? And I showed it to my friends. They were like super. They were like, "This is a very intense movie." I was like, "I know, it is." Yeah, I am. I am. The movie is called. It has more than one name. It has more than one name. It's a German movie. In German, the name is Die Blindness Site or the Leaden Times. But what if I need them? What if I mean I suppose I could drop some of them. Maybe. I suppose. I can drop let's drop 30 of them. We'll drop 30. 32. There you go. Boom. I mean, I still have a sprained wrist, but I'm better. Uh, Die Blindness Site, the Leaden Times. And in English, the English title is, they have a couple different English titles. The one I know is Marianne und Juliane, which is actually still a German title, and then, or the German sisters, or the two sisters. And so those are the titles that I know the film under. Marianne and Juliane is what I know it as. But it's called Die Blindness Site, and it's by this filmmaker named Margarita von Trotta, and she was part of the new German wave of cinema, like her with Fassbender, a couple other people. And the film was made in like 1981, I think. No, it's a West German film. It's a West German film. It's very, very good. And it was made in like 1981, and it is the story of Gudrun Ensslin and her sister Christiane Ensslin, but they changed the names, so it's not, so like they changed the names so it's not them, but it's totally them. And Gudrun Ensslin was one of the founders of the Red Army faction, the Baader Meinhof gang. And Christiane Ensslin was one of the editors, or she was a reporter, a journalist. She worked for Emma, which was Germany's like first modern, sort of like post-war feminist magazine. And yeah, I would love a new wave of drama film. I would love that. That would be amazing. So it's about, right? It's about it's about these two sisters, like one of whom was a terrorist, and or whatever, and then one of whom was a journalist. And I was thinking about this. I think about this film a lot, and I think about them a lot. Right? What they called that? They called them. There's a book about them. I think it was called like Hitler's Children. I think it was called, which is like one of these things people were talking about this particular generation. So this generation of people, they're baby boomers. Sometimes they're a little bit older than, like, we tend to say the baby boom starts in 1945, and this particular generation of people are people who were like what we would call the baby boomers, or a little bit younger, just like a little, like maybe like 40, 1940 or a little bit onwards. And so the baby boom that we want to sort of yell about. But I think about them. Like, these are people who... So, in 1967, I think it was. My father, born in 43, gets very upset if you call him a boomer. Yeah. Also, I'm going to note that there are no rabbits here right now. I'm going to just note that. That's all right. We'll go and leave it here for a little bit. This might not be a good rabbit zone. But so these people, right? I think about these people all the time. So here they are, right? They're kids. They're Germans. Their parents were Nazis or resistance fighters or didn't do anything to stop this from happening. How it was described to me as people who were coming back from War II had needs that were not met in a while. Yeah, I mean, there's often after war, people get very excited. So there's like a whole thing, right, where like their parents had been Nazis, right? They themselves were too young, but they see, and of course they're growing up and Germany has been bombed, right? They're growing up in the midst of the destruction of, like these things are still in Trommel and rubble. Things are still in rubble, right? So there's still rubble everywhere. You're seeing things bombed out. Then of course this is the generation that starts then seeing the footage, right, of what happened. It's not even fully cured yet. Well, let's see what we can do. Right, so like they're seeing now the documentaries. They're seeing what actually happened, and they're thinking, "Oh my gosh, how could my parents not have done something? How come they didn't, stop this in some way?" Or right. So you think about all the guilt that particular generation is dealing with, and the shame and the anger. Mises, I hate the Mises pieces. The parents' generation was traumatized over they could not say what happened. And by the way, while I'm here, I'm going to do a little bit of repairing of my stuff. I need rabbit pelt. Dang it. Fine. It's fine. It's all right. I need rabbit pelts, everybody. I thought I had some cured leather. I do. I have cured leather. Do I not? Why do I not have cured leather? What's up with that? I am pretty sure I had cured leather. Why do I not have cured leather? What's up with this, people? I'm pretty sure I picked up cured leather. I do. Like, this is a... Oh. Okay, so this is more specific and will not help me. Interesting. All right, well... All right. Which means I don't need all of these cured guts, then, I suppose? Let's just keep 2 with us at the moment, I suppose. And we'll deal with the rest of that later, I guess. So, right? So here they are growing up thinking about this government, right? And they're young people. They're idealistic. They're doing their thing that they do as like young idealistic folks. And, let me just take this and then let's see if we can consolidate a little bit, perhaps. Look, I'm trying to be practical here, right? Are you complaining? Why are you complaining? He is such a complainer. It is outrageous. Let me see if I can, I've got a, where's my lantern? Oh, there it is. Oop. Let's, refuel. Nice. And then, drop that jerry can because we don't need it. And I feel like everything's great in our life at this moment, and we can just head out. We'll just head out. It'll be good. And then I have to finish telling this story because it's like super intense. I think about this all the time. I'm not. I'm barely encumbered. I'm under 50 kilos. It's really good. 45. I will. I'm so. Oh. But oh. Well. Oh. You know what I can do? I can drop. I can drop some of those. I can drop the scrap metal because I don't need them right now. I do need this wood. I am gonna need. Those things don't even weigh much, and I suppose I can drop this flashlight because I can't use it right now anyway. So we'll drop that. I need those things. So we'll keep all of those. I've got a bunch of food and drink, and none of them I'm going to drop because I need it. The clothing I'm wearing. Well, I'm not wearing these worn gauntlets, so I suppose we can drop those, even though I might need them later. And I suppose we could drop these decent ski gloves. I just want to... all right. I feel... Oh. You really think you should be hefting a small person? Yes. If you have a good backpack, you should be fine. You should be fine. So about these disaffected youth and divided post. I'm very, very heavy. I'm very excited for it. Yeah, the only reason I can drop it is because I'm coming back to this place. Okay, so all this stuff I need to keep. This is a bunch of fire starting stuff, which I think I need to keep. Yeah, so we're going to be at 46, and we're going to be close. We'll be close. And once we drink more water and all of that, we'll get ourselves down, and it'll be great. It'll be lovely. But I should save. I know I save, but we're going to save. Wait. Before we save, I'm going to just eat my cattail stalks and drink some water. Then I'm going to save, and then we're going to head out. I'm worried about my lack of food, but it's okay. Yes. And water. And there we go. There are also the kids that have been from the upper class. I mean, they have been in the gymnasium and universities, besides Baudru, who came out of Violent Happy Ass and was reading. Yeah. So, okay, so here we go. We're going to go right now. I mean, we're a little tired, but I feel like we should be fine. Although I could make coffee. Nope. Not making coffee right now. We're going to go and try to make our way out there. Did we save? Yes. I don't know if we did. We're going to pretend like we did. It'll be fine. Okay, so here we go. We yell at the baby boomers as being like, I don't know, ridiculous. Who knows? But I want you to think about this for a moment. They're watching these documentaries. They're hearing about the war. And in 1967... Oh, what else I should say? Okay, so after World War II, I mean, if you're a German, you know this. If you're not German, you may not know this. There was a denazification process because you can't just basically jail and kick out every single person who existed in Germany in World War II. That is not a practical thing to do. So they went through a denazification process where they kind of interviewed people and, so a lot of people who were doing things in Nazi Germany still did things after Nazi Germany, right? Like people were still judges or still train workers, like people still lived. Will you allow that for me, Rissa? I had 69ers as teachers and they're their own pain in the butt. And so here you are, right? You're Gudrun Ensslin. You're a young person. And your father's a pastor. I think he was persecuted a little bit, whatever. So you're young, you believe in like anti-imperialism, you're a progressive, you're a radical. You've been hearing stories about Sophie Scholl and the White Rose, which was a resistance group. They were college students just like you. And when Nazi Germany was happening there in Munich, they didn't just stand by and let it happen. They didn't just do nothing. They did things. They created underground newspapers. They, and like you grew up hearing about the stories of the resistance, the members who like bombed railroads and assassinated Nazis and, these great heroes who didn't stand by to do nothing when the Nazis took over, but most people did, right? And I think about that moment in 1967 when they were oh yeah, and some of the war-time rules and rationing kept on into almost the 60s, like in the UK especially. Like, it was, hard times. So in 1967, you're a college student, you're out there, you're protesting the Shah of Iran coming to visit Germany. It's in Berlin, and you're there, and you're doing a protest. And because remember, everyone's like, oh, baby boomers, what? Like, they were like doing all sorts of civil rights work. Like, they're doing civil rights protesting, and they're protesting, like, for the environment and all this stuff. So people can talk smack about them, but I want us to remember, like, all of the important activism that they did. Anyway, so you're there, and I probably cannot walk that way, so we're going to walk this way. So you're there, and you're at this protest, and there's a student in the UK as well. Yep. It was in the UK. It was actually very bad. Hey, hey, Max, that is your place, right? And the US used Nazi scientists. Yeah. So like, you're aware of all this as a kid, right? Like, you're this college student. And then in 1967, and then this dude was killed by the police. Yes, that's right. They shot him. They shot this cat. This police officer shot this student named Benno Onsorg, and he wasn't a part of the protest. He was just walking home. Yeah, his name was Benno Onsorg, and he wasn't a member of the protest. He was walking home, and he was shot and killed by one of the police officers. It turns out, we found out decades later, like after the fall of the wall, that police officer that shot Benno Onsorg was an undercover Stasi agent. He was actually an East German member of the Stasi, and he shot him on purpose in order to instigate trouble, which he did. So the police shoot and kill somebody who wasn't even protesting. All the students splinter and they run off to different places. And a group of students are all huddled in this room. And Gudrun Ensslin is there. And she stands up. And she says to all these young people, she says, they're Nazis and they're killing us right now. Right? This German government is full of Nazis. Because remember, it's like 67, so it's 22 years after the war ended, right? Like, there's still Nazis in the government. There's still, like, various chief of police who are police officers now were still police officers then. They're all still Nazis, and they just went and shot us. This is a fascist government, and now they're killing people. And our parents didn't do anything, to our shame. Are we going to just do nothing as well? Or will we form a resistance to fight this fascist, violent government? And she gave this moving speech. And a bunch of people were like, yeah, we won't do what our parents didn't do. We will actually do something. And so then they formed the Red Army faction. They started assassinating people and bombing things. They bombed like the U.S. military bases quite a lot because they were really trying to, because the Vietnam War is happening, right? So they wanted to protest U.S. imperialism and U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War and all that stuff, right? So of course, like, they bombed U.S. military bases, U.S. military intelligence bases, captured, kidnapped people, all that stuff, right? And of course, we think of them as just like terrorists and therefore bad. But I just think about the group is the Red Army faction, also known as the Baader-Meinhof group. But there were lots of groups like them. This was like, that was just the one I was talking about. But out of that one event, there was like the Red Army faction, the Red Cells. There were like a bunch of groups that sort of came out of this one incident in 1967. And there were a lot of them. And I just think about, like, watching in the movie's about these two sisters, right? One of whom is basically Gudrun Ensslin, and the other whom is a journalist who does not run around bombing people. And like the tension between the two sisters, where like the terrorist sister or the resistance member sister, whatever you want to call them, is like, hey, you are not doing anything. Like, you're sitting here in a very comfortable apartment writing stories in a newspaper while, like, Vietnam is happening. And, like, people are dying in the third world, and the government is, like, doing terrible things, and you're not doing anything. Like, where did your conviction go? And the other sister's like, you are bombing people, and that is not going to get changed, right? And so there's this really big debate between these two sisters about, like, how to behave in this moment. And I just think a lot about how, like, I don't know what I would have done if I had been in that room, like, listening to Go Through an Ensign, if I had been, 19 or 20 in 1967, or 22, 23, 24, if I looked around and saw that the head of the, like, that the Springer Corporation, like, that was doing Nazi propaganda, is still making newspapers that everyone's buying. If I knew that all these corporations around me used basically had their own, like, had labor from POWs that they then sent off to death camps, right? That they experimented on people, to note that the head of Siemens Nixdorf was like the same guy, right? Or IG Farben, or like these big companies had the same people in charge then as in charge now. How would I feel if I were 20 years old in that moment and I am living in the aftermath of that? What would I do? Would I have listened to her and decided that I too should go off and like become a resistance member, like these heroes I've been hearing about? Would I have done that? Would I not have done that? I don't know. I can't say, because I have not lived in that situation, right? Like, I have not lived in that situation, so I don't know, but like, I think about it all the time. Hold on. Y'all are saying something. I just missed some chat, and I need to go and find out what you said, because this is super interesting to me. I need to know what you said. Hold on. Where's my cursor? Yeah, I heard of them as the Hoff group. Agitation is a fascinating psyop. It seems like such a dangerous thing. Oh, yeah. Isn't that their definition of who and what is fascist is different from the lexicon definition of it? And the RF is yeah, they were considered terrorists by people who didn't like them. But you know who was also considered terrorists? Every single resistance member during World War II, right? Like the White Rose, Sophie Scholl and the Weiße Rose, they were considered terrorists, homegrown terrorists. All of the French resistance members were called terrorists. All of them were, right? So who is or who isn't a terrorist kind of depends on who wins. Wizard Style says, the Red Army faction, the Rote Armee Fraktion, is famous partially because they financed their operations through crime, and some were never caught. But yes, they were quite a few of those groups. And actually, so did the original, like, resistance members often finance themselves through crime. Query, what historical evidence is there that violence is not how change happens? Every successful nonviolent campaign has had a violent alternative, so operating at the same time. Yeah. MLK had Malcolm X and the Black Panthers. Gandhi had the Mughals. Yeah. Mandela had former radical opponents to apartheid. Absolutely correct. I mean, personally, even if you think about environmentalism, right? You had like environmentalists, but then you also had like Greenpeace, like going out. They didn't kill people, but they like put themselves in between whaling ships and whatnot. I personally tend to think that movements work when they are multi-pronged, right? When you have when you have multiple points of tension. Like, historically, that seems to be how it works, right? That you have multiple sites of tension happening at once, right? That if you have only the violent people but not the people who you can actually talk to, that probably is not going to work. But if you have only the people who want to talk and no other outside pressure, that doesn't seem to work either. So it seems like there's like a multi-factioned. We would both not have been with people like them. We both would have done a trade job. I don't know if that's true, Ice Bunny. Because remember, the Red Army faction were not just high-ranking college students. Like, Andreas Baader was a criminal. Like, he was just a criminal. Like, he was a juvenile delinquent. He didn't go to college. Yeah, like, not all of them were college students. Yeah. This was the Bolshevik-Menshevik a bit too. Yeah, absolutely. That's what the non-GQP fear the most from the far left. Yeah. Multiple approaches maximizes the number of people who can appeal to. Yeah. The RA versus the Sinn Féin. Yeah. Well, not having the non-violent to talk to doesn't work unless violent people kill everyone, which sometimes does happen. Yeah. 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 So I just think a lot about, right? Like, and I think one of the reasons I've been thinking about this is because, so I want to figure out the best way to get to, maybe this way, we'll try it. And I just think a lot about how no matter how bad I had it in my life, and like a lot of bad things happened during my generation, like, sure, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of bad things happened during my generation. Oh my gosh, the ice out there is so thin, Max Holt. It is wild. Um, despite how bad my generation has had it, or the generation after, I can't even imagine what it must have been like to have been in World War II. You know what I mean? In that era, whether or not you were on the, because like, in India, there was this massive famine that killed millions and millions of people that was basically caused by the British. Like, to live in that time of like those were really hard times is what I'm trying to say, right? Those were really hard times. And I can't even imagine how difficult those times were for those folks that they lived through. It takes a lot to get people to drop out of society and to do those things. They must have had such, like, the things they went through. And so I have a really hard time judging those folks because I didn't live through those times. And so I'm not going to pretend like I had it the worst, because I know for a fact that my mother had it worse than I did. A lot of people in generations before me had it much worse than I did. And I don't want to be too harsh because I did not live through what they lived through. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the amount of people who won the French Revolution. Well, it was funny because there was more than one revolution that happened, right, with the French Revolution. There was like the first part of the revolution with the Gironde was a less violent, like a less, like you had the Gironde and they were a bit more moderate and they had the first wave. And then after they did the first wave of the revolution with the Gironde, then the Mountain and Robespierre came in and then just murdered all of them, the revolutionaries. And then it just went to the next space. Yeah. Yeah. So I think about that, right? The fact that revolutions often happen not just once, but there's more than one wave of them. And sometimes that second wave is different from that first wave. I know that right up there, by the way, is that radio tower that I need to figure out how to get to. And I do not think I can get there from this kind of cliff face. So I think I have to walk around this cliff face and, yeah. I think I have to walk around this cliff face. Oh, you're impressed by the intellectual level of the conversation? Well, thanks. I just like to see what people think and ponder people's folks. You know what I mean? Wizards, I sometimes have a problem with activism being equated with college uni students. Even going back to the White Rose, there were a complete aberration. The resistance in Nazi Germany mainly consisted of military men and people with direct ties to the Catholic Church. Oh yeah. Yes. The thing is, here's the thing about college students. There's a reason why college students are often the ones a number of sort of big protest movements often happen with college students. And one of the reasons why is because college students are not working. You know what I mean? Like, if you are 18 and you're working and you have kids and you're married, you are less likely to be able to have the time to be able to sort of go and protest and sort of take off of work and protest in that kind of big protest way, because you just don't have the time. You're working. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the time or you don't have the leisure time. So very often people that do end up doing a lot of the revolutionary work tend to be college students or unemployed people. So whenever a country has a lot of unemployed people who are young, that's when there are a lot of chances. That's when possibilities for revolution start getting heavier. Like college students, unemployed people, right? People without a lot to lose. But in Nazi Germany, a lot of military people were involved because they were they were the fifth column, right? In that moment, there was a lot of military resistance members. Dang it! I just read this article. Man, I don't want to talk about this. There was an article I read that I was really upset about, actually. Here, I need to go here for a second. Make it here because I've just missed some comments and I want to see them. I told my Oma that I'm thankful I never had to deal with the BS she had to and never experienced. Oh yeah. And also, yeah, Catholic Church, also Protestant Church as well, Wizard Styles. Prax says, there's always an unsuccessful student academic revolution that fails first. Yeah. Then the government's response causes the public to become more open to the violence, and then there is a successful revolution. Yeah, right? Yes. It's welcome to the foxhole. Yes, it's true. Um, just about yeah. Max, welcome into us. Yeah, I'm a college professor by day, and streamer by night, also by day. And we just talk about like whatever. Like I'm here for the whatever we got. Um, and I teach music history is what I do. But I specialize. I specialize in popular music history. But one of the things I specialize in was popular music. Global popular music between the two world wars. So this is an era that I spend a lot of time on. Uh, Also, I'm running a World War II French resistance campaign right now. So Dennis says, I think where there's conflict, there will always be people looking down on others, and that's not fair to anyone. Yeah. Um, oh, Coldrake, I do. I have to do some file housekeeping. It's true. I'm trying to do this thing where I get rid of like 15, um, 15. I put away 15 files every night. Like this is my goal. We will see how successful I will be at that. Um, we're hoping. We're hoping. Sometimes the student rebellion just fails with no follow-up, like the junior rebellion made famous by. Oh yeah. Um, it's hard because here's the thing about revolutions. Revolutions are not easy to have because people die. Do you know what I mean? Like people die. Usually regular everyday people. And it has to be really, really bad before regular everyday people are going to quit their jobs and probably die. Do you know what I mean? Like it has to be really bad. You need like a lot of unemployment, a lot of things have to happen for that to work. It just doesn't happen so. Like revolutions are not that easy. And so whenever I see people like, let's just have a revolution, I was like, oh my goodness. Revolutions don't happen that easily. Like it's a whole deal. Yeah. And we have a happy game, and it is called Squirrel the Professor. And the rule is, ask talk about something interesting, make people forget his game. It happens. Shortage. Oh yeah, you need shortages. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. I think that people really underestimate how difficult it is to have a revolution. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to see where I'm at in the map. So I want to try to get this cache. And if I can, I want to see if I can somehow get to this radio tower. I had a hard time finding it last time, so we're going to see if we can find it. Like again, finding it will be a little bit tricky, but we will do our best. Speaking of which, I've got to go and stitch these things together. All right, so there we go. Speaking of boomers, I just think a lot about how they went through a lot of stuff. There were boomers who were super radical. There were boomers who were not. They fought for all sorts of like civil rights. And I just kind of want to recognize the nuance, you know what I mean? Of the generational moments and hello. And yeah, that's all. And just to recognize like how difficult that life must have been for them.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Ooh, hey, nice. Huh. Cool. Nice. Ooh, nice. Sweet. Chat always wins the squirrel game. What most of show up for is a conversation, not the game. Yeah. Remember, for most of war-torn Europe, the aftermath was as bad as the depression that came before the war. And the afterlast, yeah, it was like Europe was jacked up. In regards to the French Revolution, I think it's also important to remember that essentially all of the European powers declared war on them and mobilized while royalists in the countryside. So there was a very real threat of the revolution getting crushed. Yep. It's kind of hard to be moderate when you're under that kind of pressure. Same thing with the Russian Revolution and France and the UK. Absolutely. Right. And I think that we have to just sort of remember, right? Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why I say this is because I had, man. So like I was in college. I went to the army first, but I was in college at one point in time. And then the Berlin Wall fell and the U.S. boomers literally were told that they won. Yeah. 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 But I was in college and I had friends that were like, we're going to go and vote for Nader. And I was like, why are you voting for Nader? Nader is terrible when it comes to like women's rights, queer rights, racial politics. Like, why are you voting for Nader? And my friends in college said, well, we want to vote for Nader so that George George Bush will win. And then if George Bush wins, then there'll be a revolution. And I was like, what are you talking about? If George Bush wins, there will not be a revolution because it will not be so bad that there'll be a revolution. It'll just be awful for a bunch of people, but it won't be so bad that there'll be, like, I don't know why you think that will, and of course it didn't happen. It was just bad. But, like, nobody listens to me. I try to tell them, but nobody listens to me. It's very frustrating. I'm not very educated regarding the Berlin Wall. Couldn't you tell us? Oh, gosh. It's the Berlin Wall. So if you are not German, we have some Germans here who do know, but if you are not German, I think there are a couple things that I think people don't realize if they don't understand German geography. And one of the things is that I would say is, so, right, there's Germany, and all the powers come in and, like, invade, into the war. And what you get is that Germany is divided up into 4 zones. Each of the big powers that won gets a zone. The US gets a zone, the French get a zone, the British get the zone, and the Soviets get a zone. So there are 4 zones. But of course, the US, the British, and the French are all allies. So it's basically 2 zones, right? The Allied zone and then like the Soviet zone, right? So then you get East Germany, which is sort of a communist country, and then the 3 powers are occupying the other part of Germany. And I think what you should know is that Berlin becomes, so you have Berlin, right? And Berlin is this, like, important city. Berlin itself is also divided into 4 zones. The French, the British, 4 sectors, the French, the British, the American, and the Soviet sector, which then, of course, becomes divided Berlin, East Berlin, West Berlin. But the thing you need to know, if you do not know German geography, is that Berlin itself, the city, existed entirely within the East German zone, the Soviet zone.
Time to look for shelter.
Yes, stop complaining. We're fine. You're gonna be okay. Don't be a whiner. We're just wandering around towards this radio tower. It's gonna be okay, and then we'll save. You'll be all right. This is why you should watch 1, 2, 3. Also, James Cagney. Yeah. Thanks. Now I have to watch Airlift and The Spy Coming From the Cold. Oh, Spy Coming From the Cold is so good. So, wait. What's going on? Hold on. I'm hearing things. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. Okay. Well, good. Run away. Everybody, we just killed a wolf, which I'm feeling really good about. We're also going to just take all of that meat. All of it. We're just going to take it all. Whew. So, okay, and it's really dark. Okay, now it's time for us to bring out our lantern and try to get to that radio tower, because I feel like this will be really important for us. Let's see what we got here. Where is our radio tower? Okay, so West Berlin is entirely surrounded by East Germany. Let me figure out which direction we're heading. Okay, we're heading in the right direction. Also watch White Knight 75. Mikhail Bershov, great. That wasn't 1975. That must have been the 80s. That was Coldrake. That was 80s. Absolutely 80s. Why are there still wolves here? Okay, here we go. Fighting back. Get away from me. Oh, gosh. We're going to have to move. Folks, this is bad. We just have to get in there. We just have to get in there as fast as we can. We just radio tower. Just go radio tower, everybody. Radio tower. I feel like there's probably going to be like a radio tower house, maybe. Yes. Oh, okay. I'll see you, Krellin. So, if you were in West Germany and you wanted to get out of if you were in West Berlin and you wanted to go to West Germany, you had to travel by train or road through East Germany, right? So, like, you were completely surrounded. It does not seem as if there's a house here, and this distresses me very much. But there's got to be, right? There's got to be some kind of a house, like a place to sleep, a safe place, right? I am not seeing one. That's But look, it looks like there's a little house here. It looks like there's a little house here, people. We have to find it because I cannot believe there's not some little place for me here. Yeah, you had to transit through the DDR. I don't think I can climb the tower. This is not a climbable tower. There's no stairwell here. But I'm going to try looking around here to see if there's like a... If not, I'm going to just have to try to set up camp. But I'm a little... I would feel better if I had a door. Yeah. Let's just look to see if it's there. If not, we're going to have to do our best. We will do our best, but again, I'm hoping we can find some kind of a hut or hutch, which I am not seeing. That makes me distressed. But there's a hollow tree around there. Let's see if we can find it. Some kind of a... I mean, we can set up camp, you know, but there are wolves around. Kind of worrisome. Yeah. I just wanted to see if there was a house first, because I kind of do want to go to sleep, but let's get to that tower, do what we got to do with the tower, and see if we can just set up a camp down here, hopefully, maybe. And you had to exchange some Daymark. Yeah. Don't freak me out, Coldrake. Don't freak me out. Paw Prince. So, what you may not know is that shortly after the war, there was basically shortly after the war. We're going to just take all of this. That's what we're going to do. Shortly after World War II ended, the Soviet Union basically blockaded West Berlin. They basically said they wouldn't let anything come in and out. No food, no trains. They basically made a very aggressive move to blockade everything. So you could not... Yeah, so basically it was like this big, huge existential crisis where there was this very big, huge concern that everybody would starve. Yep. And then they had... I got some East coins from my Aussie relatives that I know why. And so they had and as practicing, you had the Berlin airlift, right? So the Americans came in, right, and they airdropped. They flew planes in. They airdropped all this food and support, so that this is not a windbreak, which worries me. We're gonna find a windbreak, everybody. I just want you to know we're gonna find a windbreak. We're gonna set up camp, and hopefully, we will not be killed by wolves. In the meantime, that's gonna be my goal. All right. I'm just afraid that if we deal with the tower, it'll trigger something and then we'll die. That's all. But I'm going to deal with the tower. So it was very, very intense, right? Like the whole thing was very, very intense. And if you were in West Berlin, it was like a very intense scene. Save. And confirm. Let's see what we can do here. Shortwave tower. Oops. Okay. We got some transponder parts. Awesome. Great. All we need to do is find a windbreak. The big lift. So, they came with a big box of chocolates. My mom was all, we don't eat this. And I was like, why that chocolate? All this culminated with the creation of the Berlin Wall. Americans had plenty of experience airdropping. The hunt for a nationalist China. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I just have to find a. I have to find a windbreak. I know there's one out here. I just want one that maybe will not involve me being eaten by wolves. You know, that's all. But we did see a windbreak when we were walking over there. We just have to get back to it. Um, so the thing about the Berlin Wall is that it was a. I don't. Let me see. I will look again, but I am. We'll see if we can find one. This one doesn't seem. Ooh, hey, look at this. It's a backpack. Cool. We're gonna search a backpack though.
I'll be hungry later.
Sweet. This is a windbreak right here. So maybe we can, maybe we can make camp right here. Perhaps. Let's see. Let's do it. I mean, I'm a little worried. The problem is I do not see the hollow tree. We can look for it though. So this tree, standing up. This is no. If we can find it, we can then, you know, go to bed. So I'm not seeing a hollow tree here. This is all rocks. This right here, maybe? This looks good. Right here. Can we get in here? Yes. Okay. So, let's do it. Yes. I think I have some firewood with me, but let's remember this tree right here. Let's grab something we can use. I saw something we could pick up for the fire, and then we'll just take it. And we might have enough. We might have enough stuff. Oh, yeah, we'll do this. It'll be good. Yeah. Here we go. Fir limb. We're gonna break it down. Break it down. And then we're gonna go back to that tree. We're running out of lantern oil. We're gonna do our best, everybody. Yeah. So anyway, the Berlin Wall, if you don't know, basically was constructed in a day, like overnight. Like everybody went to bed, and in the morning there was a wall. But if you don't know what the wall was, like the wall was not like, oh, hey, I wonder if I. Well, we'll do it like this. Hey, there's a wall, right? It wasn't just like that. Let's start this fire. Let's hope it'll go. I know I wish I had more. There's some lamp oil back in that old house. We'll see what we can do. It wasn't like the wall's not just a wall. The wall completely surrounded West Berlin. Like it was a wall. Like I think the way people think like, oh, you know, here's this wall. Let's put some reclaimed wood in there. And let's put some cedar firewood in there. This looks real good. Let's do it. And then let's wait, boom. Because of people see, and everyone's like, oh, because people in the East, people. But of course, escaping to West Berlin, it wasn't necessarily super great. Oh, hey, look at all this wolf meat that I have right now. Okay, well, we're gonna cook this wolf meat while we're here, even though we should probably be sleeping, but we're gonna do it because we clearly need to. So, yeah. Sit entry, fire. Just yeah. They still have a bit of the wall. Oh, hey, let me just eat this while we're here. Since I need to eat. And yeah, I know that we probably should be sleeping right now, but I just want to cook all of this meat that is probably going to, get me in trouble, right? Because the wolves are going to smell it and then want to eat me in a murderous way. So I'm going to just, take care of that. And then I'm going to drink some water. It'll be great. Yeah. So, like, the wall surrounded West Berlin. So the people in West Berlin were basically overnight, they woke up and they're like, sort of incarcerated in West Berlin, as it were. Thank you, Jer. And, that was sit entry, fire, Justin. The problem is, Coldrake, that you can't build the fire unless you have a windbreak. So I wasn't quite certain that the fire would work outside of the tree, because outside of the tree you're a little bit worried about it. And also, I need to put out the bedroll. I was thinking about it, but I don't think the bedroll will fit inside of the tree. So I think I have to put the bedroll outside of the tree. So, boom. That's just like a thing. While we're here, let's see if we can. We've got like a bit of time. Let's see if we can, like, make some more bandages while we're here, because I tend to get in trouble a little bit. Oh, you know what else we could probably do? I probably need to repair some clothes, while we're here. Yes, let's just do some of that. Let's just take care of some business while we're here, while those things are cooking, because we probably need to do that. Yeah, so being in West Berlin was super intense. The Berlin Wall was sort of like a secret project that was done overnight, and what it did was it made sure that, well, I mean, you were it was kind of scary. It made sure that East Germans couldn't escape into West Berlin, but it also meant that, I mean, it was like a bit distressing, right? Like, to sort of wake up and all of a sudden you are walled in. They claim no one had the intention of building a wall just a month before they built the wall. Yeah, right. And of course, in many ways, you can sort of think about the like, that was pretty. I really need to fix that. That was pretty intense engineering. Like, that was like a feat of engineering that was like pretty intense to do that. But like, just like think about living in that environment. Like, that's just a very intense thing. And I just think, oh, I don't have any cloth. Yeah, I don't have any cloth. But hold on. Yeah, and they had all the manpower supplies to do it overnight. Can you imagine? So this is a long wool scarf. I don't know if it's better or worse than what I currently have, because it's not repaired and I don't have the tools for it. But I'm pretty sure I can. Let's see how this. Hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, guess what? I burned that. I waited too long. I burned it. It was burnt. Burned it. Awesome. And by awesome, I mean the opposite of awesome. I am so sorry, everybody. I burned it. Oops. 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 I didn't. It was going to take a whole hour, you know? Imagine going to work, and when you come home, you are separated from your family by a wall. Absolutely, right? It was like a logistical nightmare. And the thing is, of course, there were families that lived on different sides of, like, in different zones, right? Like, you might have family on the, like, people, like, were then separated from their families because they couldn't, because the wall came up overnight. Like, how intense was that? I can't believe I just, y'all, I can't believe that happened to me. But it did. What is this? Okay, well, at least I have some fresh wolf meat that I can eat. Yeah. Meanwhile, the West has every interest in making Easterners super envious. Absolutely. And they're like, it's really interesting, the ways in which various psyops work. Like, there are a lot of really interesting psyops that happen. Things like, for example, I think a good example of a good psyop would be something like music, broadcasting music, and TV. Ooh, that was a big one. TV, trying to, like, broadcast TV shows into East Germany that showed, like, all, like, the cool, amazing things that, like, you could have in the West, right? So there's a lot of really interesting psychological warfare that happens in these moments. Yeah. So, how much time do we have on this? 1 hour and 14? What can we do in an hour and 14? We can. Well, we can maybe make some herbal tea. Yes, let's make some herbal tea while we're here because we're going to be practical about this. We're going to try to do our very, very best here while we have the time. Yeah. So it's just one of those things I think about a lot, right? I think about how intense that was. And I think one of the things that I think about a lot that I think Americans especially don't really appreciate is that we were in the middle of the Cold War, right? Yeah, sure, we're in the middle of the Cold War. There was just one tiny part of the DDR around the town of Magdeburg that did not have West TV. And I think about, like, we're like, oh, we're so afraid the Cold War, right? Sure, okay, but like in Germany, it was right there, right? When we moved in nuclear weapons, like there was huge protests. Like a lot of young people were like, do not move nuclear weapons into West Germany because that's just going to escalate the tensions. And like they're right there and they can just like invade us at any moment and vice versa, right? So I think about the ways in which the Cold War was super intense, right? If you lived in Germany, it was much more intense in a way that we can't even really appreciate as Americans, because for all of the intensity that we experienced, we weren't right there. Do you know what I mean? Like we weren't right there. Yeah, 99 Luftballons. Yeah, and so I just think a lot, right, about the ways in which, like, how hard it must have been to be living in those times. Yeah, Dresden was so far east that the Western broadcast couldn't reach it. It was called Tal der Ahnungslosen, the Valley of the Clueless. Yeah. Oh, wait, there's that movie. What was that movie? I haven't seen it, and I need to. It was a
Place to rest.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Give me a second. It was called like Goodbye. It was the movie about the mom who like was in a coma or something, and she wakes up and she doesn't realize that like it's after the fall of the wall, but she still thinks that East Germany exists, and so her son has to try to pretend like East Germany still exists. Do you remember that movie? It was called like Farewell Farewell Stalin or something? Maybe. Do you guys know the film I'm talking about? I haven't seen it. Um, uh, y'all, you must know what I'm talking about. Good. Thank you. Goodbye, Lenin. Thank you, Schmelzer. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye, Lenin. That was the one that I was thinking of. Thank you. Because I was there's a film. What is it? Goodbye, Lenin. Thank you. And I haven't seen that movie, and I have wanted to. Um, yeah, so it's one of those movies that's on my list of films to watch, and I hope I can get a chance to see it sometime soon. I just need to watch it. Yeah. So anyway, I think the long and short of it is that before I run around like judging people who had to like live through sort of things I can't even imagine, I just try to imagine that. I just try to remember that they live through things that I can't even imagine, and they're dealing with stuff that I've had the privilege not to have to deal with. I mean, sure, I've had to deal with my own stuff, but I mean, you know what I mean? I just, whew. Yeah. So like, I just try to have that kind of empathy. That's what I try to do. Also, I can't believe I just totally destroyed that meat. Oh well, it was surprise meat anyway, right? It was surprise meat. I didn't think I'd kill that wolf, so you know. How much time do we have here? We have 42 minutes. I bet I can cook just like a little bit of water. It won't be a whole lot, but yeah, that won't take too long. Yeah, I think we'll be good. Oh, let me just take that and then let me cook some water here. Right, like, see, I'm just trying to like be as practical as I can. That's what I'm trying to do because I need a little bit more water, and I should go to bed and then clear the game. But not going to go to bed until after, and by go to bed I mean Uh, oh, what I need to do is, um, where's my bedroll? There it is. Let's let's put the bedroll down at least, and maybe we can There we go. Look at that. Everything looks nice. My cats are fed. Oh yeah. No, I'm done.
Name game.
Oh, I just drank the herbal tea. Oh, I did. I just drank the herbal tea, and I'm well rested. I've got my herbal tea going on. Also, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, more an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Voltiel, but Voltiel, banana, fanner, for Voltiel, fee, fi, mo, Maltiel. Voltiel, the name game. Woo! Thank you for that sub, Voltiel. It is much appreciated. So, Max, good night. It was great to have you here. Oh, gosh, you're in Denmark. Hey, cool. You're in Denmark. That's awesome. I do not speak Danish, but we do have some people who do speak Danish who are in our chat. So, I want to give some love to you, Max. I will see you another time later. And then, yeah. Also, by the way, once this water's done, I'm going. Because we're going to take a sleep and all that goodness, and it'll be grand, and everything will be great. That's it. Let me see. What do I want to tell you all? I feel like that was mostly it. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my outros while we're getting ready to go. I do have... by the way, there are people speaking Danish in my chat, and I just want you to know that this makes me really happy, because I love it when people get to speak, like, their language that's not English. That makes me really happy. I just want you to know it. And look at this. Bedroll. Sleep. Sleeping 8 hours. Boom. Look at that. Oh, good. Socials. Thank you, Rissa. And everything's great. Bedroll is done. I don't want to sleep. I just want to take the bedroll. Pick it up. And the fire's out, and we'll just break it down because we want to recycle and be responsible. And we're going to eat a little bit of food at this moment. And then we're going to drink a whole bunch of water. And then we're going to save. And our game is awesome. Boop, 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 boop. Look how much we did, everybody. I am so, proud of us. Let's quit. Hey, I want to quit. No, I quit. It's good. We're good. We're quitting. We are awesome. Okay, so what I want to tell you all. Am I good with it? Yeah, okay. So thank you all for being here. I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with us. That's been amazing. And I am going to... There's a ladder on the tower. Is there? Don't let me forget there's a ladder on the tower. We're going to check it out. So what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. We are going to... I'm going to go in a half hour. So at 10 o'clock, I will be hosting Critical Role on this channel. So if you want to watch Critical Role and have somebody to chat with, then you can do that with me. Also, tomorrow is Friday. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern will be City of Light and Shadow, the Fate French Resistance role-playing game that I GM. And come and see what happens. That'll be really fun. Saturday, you can find me at 2 p.m. on Unexpected Productions on Twitch for an improv theater show that I'm in, which is a fake reality dating show. Sunday at 4 p.m. you can find me at Table Story for Faint Dawn, which is a Blades in the Dark campaign, or at 8 p.m. over at Praxagora, the Smoforia's channel, for Blue Rose. And then, of course, Witcher Wednesday, so next Wednesday at 8 p.m. over at Praxis channel, you can find me playing Witcher as well. So that's what I'm doing for this week. You can find me if you like. Also, you can follow and subscribe if you like. We have a Discord. You should join it. You don't have to. You know, I'm not the boss of you. Do what you like. But we hang out there and we chat. And then you can follow me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter, Trooper SJP here on Twitch, also at YouTube, where I have an archive of everything we're doing. And I have a Patreon, which is Academic Foxhole, and that's to help pay the cast for the shows that I produce. And that's all the stuff. I'm sure that Yant will be totally fine next week. Well, he'll pretend to be fine. That's what he'll do. It'll be fine. So thank you, Valtiel. I want everybody here to be happy and well, and I will, yes, come to the Discord for more Hygge. And we will see you in a half hour or tomorrow or around, and take care of yourselves. And remember this. This is, takeaway. Here's the takeaway that'll make you feel good. We're not going to do a raid because I've got to go make some food. But here's my takeaway about all the discussion. Remember I said all discussion about like how hard people had it in the past and all this stuff, right? And think about all of that. So here's my takeaway for you. My takeaway is they survived really difficult times and they didn't give up, right? When people couldn't vote, when they were being tortured, when it was like Russia in like 1908 and they just had no food. People survived some of the most terrible things. And not everybody did, but people didn't give up the fight. They kept fighting. They kept going. They didn't allow themselves to be demoralized. And I see a lot of people on Twitter just super demoralized. Like, well, what's the point about anything? There's no point anymore. And I was like, yeah, don't do that. Just remember that all the people before us, they didn't give up. They kept fighting. And we can do that too. I believe in us. I believe in us. I believe in us. So I just want you to know that I have great faith in humanity and in all of us and our ability to live up to the kind of grit that people before us had. And I know that we can make the world, even if it's just a small corner of it, better for people around us. And I know that. And I just want you to know that I believe in each and every one of you. I want you to know it. So that's all the love that I'm going to give you all. And with that, I will catch you all on the flip side. And by that, I mean in 30 minutes. All right, everybody. I'll catch you soon. Bye. All the love.